And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show, and this is going to be episode 195. So I hope you guys had a great day, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. And you guys are probably watching this episode of the MSK show on a replay because you may or may not have had a chance to watch the episode live. So you're probably watching this episode on Friday, which is good because that means it's going to be the weekend. So I hope you guys have a great weekend if you are watching this episode of the MSK show on the replay on Friday. And in this episode of the MSK show, just in a little bit, we're going to be doing a comic book review on Bug Wars #1. This is a comic book 6-issue miniseries written by Jason Aaron with art by Mahmoud Asrar. Last night, me and Professor Savage Dad tried to review Bug Wars #1, and then literally toward the very end of the review, his internet basically kind of started acting funky, kicked him off, and I didn't know if he was going to come back in a timely manner, so we had to kind of just wrap up the episode there. But that's why you always have a backup plan, and Lunchbox Warren had the book too, because we had suggested that we were going to be reading Bug Wars. And keep in mind, the reason why I generally suggest certain series that we read here sometimes is because sometimes it's good to kind of break away from, like, you know, Marvel or DC sometimes, and, you know, kind of go on the major publisher indie sector, as like I kind of call it myself, where you're kind of experiencing, you know, different titles, whether they be a mini series or an ongoing series, and then you kind of can see what else writers that you may know and love are capable in their writing capabilities, and other artists that you never would have heard about if you just kind of stick to Marvel and DC. Now, if you want to stick to just Marvel and DC, that's fine. People can do whatever they want. But for me, I like experiencing other comic books. You know, I've read every Rippaverse comic book so far, except Yari #2, Great War of Separation #1. And yeah, pretty much just the books they just recently released. And I haven't backed ISOM #1 yet, or the Great War of Separation #2, but I'll do that when I get paid next week. And then we've been just reviewing Marvel comics and DC comics pretty much all year. And I love it. I told you guys that was going to be our goal, because I realized last year that if I want to basically kind of get more consistent at doing this, the best way of consistently putting out content for comic books is, well, fucking hell, reading and reviewing the books. It's not to say we didn't do it before. We weren't doing it enough, and we weren't doing it consistently enough, you know, and I want to make sure, you know, that is not going to be a thing anymore. We're going to be doing this for you guys, this format you guys know and love. We obviously read and review the books for you guys, and if you want to see the clipped version of the review, we're going to be in the comic book channel. And then obviously if we talk about anything comic book related, as far as like news related, that's going to be obviously on the comic book channel as well. I'll still obviously have, you know, MSK show episodes here where we're going over like mainstream stuff, but comic and manga related stuff goes on that channel, because I try to put out comic book and manga related content on this channel. Very hit or miss, honestly. And I was like, you know what? It's probably just better on its own separate channel anyway, which is good recently. So I don't know if there's any big books coming out next week. I think these big weeks right now were the two biggest weeks that we've had, because if I look at League of Comics Geeks right now, I think this week coming up is not as big, honestly. So let me see right now. But Lunchbox Warren is here. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Didn't Wonder Woman 6 come out today?
That was this week.
That was this week? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. This week we had Absolute Wonder Woman #6, Ultimate Spider-Man #15, Batman issue 158, Ultimate Wolverine #3. You had Superman #24, Justice League Unlimited #5, Absolute Martian Manhunter. Guys, I'll be honest, I couldn't in Goodwill buy that. Art is so bad.
I'm doing it.
God, man. Oh, it's so bad.
I do like I like really out of the lines art sometimes. There's a few artists that I like, so I'll give it a shot just to see, because the preview images I've seen were awesome, but at the same time though, I'll give it a shot. There might be some good pages in it, and I'm kind of an ultra absolute stan now, so I'll definitely be checking out. Oh, is it the new Hush came out this week?
Yeah, Batman 158 comes out this week.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, cool.
So we have. Is anyone really hyped for the Batman, the Long Halloween, the last Halloween? It feels like this just never got any hype at all. It feels like it just
I have them, but I haven't read them yet, and I haven't. It hasn't been like, making anybody go nuts. You don't hear anything about it.
Wolverine Revenge is ending. As you guys know, I reviewed issue number 1, which people didn't like it, but I did enjoy it. But Wolverine Revenge, Wolverine Deep Cut, and Aliens versus Avengers, guys, if you don't see me review, at least with these guys or myself, the subsequent issues, I'll just review them in trade. TMNT Naruto issue 3, I have that. I'm going to finish buying out my pull list when I get paid. I have that added there. Let me take off some of these books that's already there. I got that. Make sure I have all these locked up.
I always buy Greg Capullo art. So him doing Wolverine.
Greg Capullo is great.
Capullo,
yeah.
I'll always follow his art. His art's amazing.
There was nothing else here that I had. I mean, there's a few trades here. There's the Infinity fucking, what is it called? Jeez. The Infinity Quest or Gauntlet retread story that they're doing with Thanos. There was a bunch of annuals. Yeah, Infinity Watch. Jesus Christ, that came out. I might add that on my pull list. I don't really know. I'll see. I know they did. Oh my God, they have a Star Wars book. It's like Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker #2. It's like, who the fuck's interested in that?
I heard. I saw an article. I don't know if it was real or not. I didn't look into it, but it sounds like they canceled or took the next Star Wars movie off of the Rey first of the new Rey trilogy was supposed to come out like in 2026.
They have Ice Age 6 there.
They took off the calendar. So I'm wondering if is that still going on or did that get canceled?
I don't know, honestly. It looks like they don't know what they want to do with most of their movies. It feels like they just announce stuff just to get people hyped, and then they hope that you forget about it. And then when you realize it never came out, you were like, damn, they just only announced stuff and just to fucking not put it out for you.
Yeah. I read the Universal Monsters Frankenstein that the Image did, and that was really good. So the Mummy I might pick up. Everything.
We're taking everyone down with us. #1. The explosive double-sized first issue. After her mad scientist father is killed by the world's greatest spy, 13-year-old Annalise is left all alone in the world, sort of. Her dad's dead robot bodyguard is following her around for some reason. Now Annalise has a choice. Try to lead a normal life for the first time ever, or seek revenge and maybe overthrow the world order in the process. 40 pages, retails for $4.99.
Is Image doing that now? Because I know Bug Wars was big too. Like, are they doing 40 pages now for $4.99?
For some books for that are issue 1s, they'll do like 40 or 44 pages for issue 1s, which I think is good because if, as you guys know, we're gonna review Bug Wars in just a little bit here. You could feel where they were gonna cut it off. It was gonna be a 24-page floppy, but that extra 24 pages you got really made it feel even more impactful. I think. Personally, for me, if you ask me, I think floppy should either be 40 to 64 pages. Anything less than that to me is just not worth the money. It should be, but they're not. They're going to keep it 24 anyway.
Well, I don't want to get too far off a topic, but it's Alliance bought Diamond, and one of their owners was on Beyond Wednesday's podcast, and they said that they don't want to sell $5 products anymore. So they're talking about that means it, and they was a great show if you get a chance to watch it. But it was they're talking like even AP Ben Dunn put out that they might be going to graphic novels. I know a couple indie creators who are thinking about going to graphic novels now, and because you get them into more stores, the price point's better for the shop. It costs me $600 to $750 per issue to print out a 150-page graphic novel, and I can sell that for $20. So the store buys it to me from $10. They sell it for $20. They're making $10 on it. I'm making $3 on it. It's a lot better than what the floppy deal is. So we might see a huge change in the independent market just because of that. So yeah, I'm not surprised to see bigger books because people are bitching about the price point of $3.99. So if you give them, well, here's twice the book for $4.99, they it seems like a much better deal. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
I did hear a few things about it, and people were basically they were like concerned that if you have Alliance as the person that bought Diamond, would they even want to kind of like distribute comic books? I think that's part of the general discussion too. And it's like,
yeah,
if it doesn't bring in the money, they're not going to really probably want to do it unless you're getting like typically like, omnibuses and hardcovers and trades and stuff like that. But it's like, I agree with that, and keep in mind the bigger two have Penguin Random House and what's the other one? Lunar, right? So those guys I think are still going to do $5 24 pagers, right? But people like Ben Dunn who run Antarctic Press, it legitimately makes no sense for them to ever have a floppy model for their company because first of all, how many people are really going to have eyes on Antarctic Press books coming out? Is there really like an audience or market for that? I know Billy Tucci has She through Diamond, but Billy Tucci with She just basically, he has an audience that'll buy whatever he puts out, honestly.
Well, yeah, and AP was doing pretty decently with their floppies. 3,000
Mike Barron
sales.
published Private American as a floppy, but on Mike Barron's website, you could just buy the whole thing if you wanted to. That makes no sense. I guess Mike is thinking, even though it doesn't make sense to be here, it only makes sense from like an exposure point of view. But even that is like everyone who knows Mike Barron knows who he is already. He doesn't need more exposure. Everyone already knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you sell the book through a publisher into comic book shops, there's people who only shop at comic book shops. So
that's true.
There is a market for that. And then, if you go on Kickstarter, there's people that only do Kickstarter. So, I mean, you can hit different markets by getting out there as much as possible.
Oh, no, there's reasons for it.
There is logic to it. It's just the market's getting to the point where the comic book shops don't want to do floppies unless they're DC or Marvel floppies.
They call them vanity publishers, right? Like, you have those people that are like publishers, but it's like, I think they recorded it. It's like, how many? 200 publishers that are here in America. But it's like, how many of them are legitimately publishers that have like an audience that are buying the books consistently from the stores to make sure the stores order those books? Like, the only other indie comic book companies that have it, from my understanding and knowledge of it, is like Mad Cave, Titan, and then I guess Boom is somewhat considered in that race too. You have all these other indie comic book companies that Mindy and Mike list out on one of their tweets and stuff like that. But it's like those people would benefit more being in a Diamond catalog than someone like Mike Barron, because like I just said before, Mike Barron's already known. People are going to buy no matter what. They benefit more from that because they don't have an audience. But and then you also have to weigh, because you have to give up, because you said it a few episodes back too. You have to give up money to the shop and the distributor, and then the distributor who's going to put your book there. It's like you already, like, how much exposure is it really worth if you have to pay those two middlemen for it? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It's for me, I'm gonna if I put out a graphic novel, I'm going to be selling it at cons. I'm going to be selling it online. I'll maybe do a Kickstarter. If some publisher wants to break up my story and make floppies and send it to a shop, I'm all for it, but I don't really feel like I have the time, the money to do it myself. Like, I would much rather do an 80-page story and then put out Sig and Joe Volume 1, like if I combining the first two issues. I would much rather do that because it's just easier to sell, to try to convince someone at a convention who's paying, prices are getting better, but they're not getting better very fast, and it's still hard for people to spend money on stuff. I'd much rather say, hey, would you like 150 pages for $15 than I would, hey, do you want 44? I mean, I got a 44-page book, my first one, but I still have to sell it to $7. So it's like I'm trying to ask someone to pay $7 for a 44-page comic when people are bitching about paying $4.99 for them. So
yeah, and keep in mind, I don't think I've ever said this to people, but I think people complain too much about the price points for the most part. Like, if we're being honest here, $4.99 and $5.99 is nothing. Now, I think the real issue is like with the economy, the way it is, and the way certain people's job situations are, I understand why certain books being priced a certain way makes it an issue for you. But if we're being logically sound here, $4.99 for 24 pages is not bad, really, realistically at all.
no.
It's just the reason why it's a problem is because people feel like the amount of money they're paying is not reflective of the content actually in the books. You know,
Yeah.
because keep in mind, guys, if you can't afford $5, I don't think comic books you should be buying anyway. Not saying you can't like comics or buy them, but you got more problems to worry about if you can't afford $5.
Yeah,
you know?
you get your feet back on your ground and get
Yeah,
yourself picked
but
up
the other
again.
problem with that is like, if I know a lot of people just don't buy one book because when you think like, okay, if you buy 2 books for $5.99, if you're complaining about that, I think you're just fucking broke. You're a broke loser. But if you're a person buying, like we buy 5, 6 books sometimes a week,
Yeah.
that's where it starts adding up. If you're a motherfucker complaining about buying 2 books a week, it's like, come on, the fuck out of my face.
Yeah, like
Stop.
when I don't get to go to my comic shop for like 3 weeks, it costs me like $100 on my
Yeah.
full list. You know,
Yeah.
it freaking sucks sometimes. But yeah, it's one of the reasons why manga does so well too. It's like, you know, do you want 220 pages for $10, or do you want, 24 pages and 6 of those are ads? And in this story, we're gonna watch Wolverine get talked down to by a polyamorous mutant. Some bullshit, It's like,
God, man. And
but
then
yeah,
DC,
it's people. It's when you buy a bunch of them, and also too the quality goes down. It's just like I don't want to pay $5.99 for this shit. Like, it's like I don't want to pay $100 to go to a movie theater and watch some fucking Disney crap production. That it's you want that your money to have a reward back to it when you spend it. You want to feel like you spelled it good. So,
and keep in mind, I understand, and like I understand what people are saying. I do, but it's like I for the life of me in my head can't justify bitching about a $5 thing. The only way I would ever justify complaining about it is if the quality of the books do not reflect how much money you're paying for them in your pull list. That's what people forget when their arguments are going on. It's like, if I'm giving you $5 and I get a 30-page book, I think that's pretty reasonable, right? The page count compared to how much money I just gave you is reasonable. But if these books monthly are really bad, that's where I start having a problem, because I'm giving you this much money for this much quality of trash.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm good. And I would say for modern comic books, the ads have been less and less, which is good. Just fine.
Yeah, and they seem to stick to the end. DC likes to still stick in the middle, I noticed, but most of the indies are doing at the end. Like I don't even think Bug Wars.
I've always criticized that Bug Wars had a fake ad in here, and the ad they had at the very beginning. Up to the very beginning was the variant cover gallery they had, but at the very, very end, they basically showed off like other books that Jason Aaron did. And I think that, honestly, I'm thinking about it now after we read it. That's probably the best effective way for an ad at this point.
I had no idea this was a fake ad. I just read it and I saw the ad. I just flipped and I was like, okay, there's an ad, whatever. I just read it now. I'm like, oh shit, it's not even an ad. It's not an ad. Oh my,
this guy's trolling me.
Oh,
no
wow. Way. That's awesome. I might do that in my book. I'm gonna put a fake.
Don't do that. That would be a bait switch.
Oh, I'm doing it.
Remember, unless it's Comicsgate that does it, everyone else is wrong for they do it. You know, like I before we go, I know people saw the Shane Davis quote tweeted me, and he was bragging about being a New York Times bestseller. The reason why I said being a New York Times bestseller means nothing is because there are, I don't know how many books I've seen in my life where they have that stamp of New York Times bestseller, and it's never once attracted me to pick it up and buy it. I don't think it really means
Do you
anything, if I'm
know?
being
Do
honest
you know
here.
what? You want to hear the inside baseball of New York Times bestseller?
So for what I heard, it's basically like it's a cool kids club where they give you that stamp if you kind of kiss ass enough. From what I heard,
That
okay.
there is that, but there's also if I go to a publisher with my book and then they publish it, they will turn around and buy a shit ton of copies of my book that they're publishing in order to get it onto the New York Times bestseller list.
Right.
20,000 copies sold. Yeah, 20,000 that the publisher bought back themselves. It's almost like when people buy
Someone
their
called it a
own.
scam.
Yeah, it's essentially
Totally a
it's a scam.
scam.
It's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. All it is publishers buying enough copies of the books to get put onto that list. And there's also the Kiss Ass Club too, where there's some people just automatically
Well,
end
yeah,
up
because
on it.
the reason why I brought up the club thing was because they're going to handpick and select the artists that they want to have the publishers promote for the writers that they think are worthy enough of that stamp. And it's like,
Yeah.
I wasn't even really saying it to be an asshole, but I kind of was because I don't like that guy because I think he's just a fucking piece of shit. He's a boring, just fucking worthless loser. But if someone's bragging about being a New York Times bestseller, it's like, if you look at any surface level research like what you did and what we know, you can find this out very easily.
Yeah.
Like Ben Shapiro is a New York Times bestseller. I'm pretty sure that doesn't have any impact on people watching his show. None of that matters. Literally, being a New York Times bestseller means nothing. Literally,
it's almost like
if I saw a book
Oscar
that I liked on Amazon, it being a New York Times bestseller wouldn't be an indicator if I'm going to buy it or not. It'd be like, oh, that's cool. Writer, maybe he deserved it. Keep in mind, all these people in this space, if you know, dude, brag about, man, these award shows, they don't mean nothing. They're fucking trash. Hollywood is blah, blah, blah. But I noticed that when they get an award, it means everything to them.
Then it's all of a sudden it's important. Hi, Miss Sparkles.
Hi, Miss Sparkles. Because people always say, what's the comic book award every year? It's the fuck.
There's the Ringo Eisner. And there's the Eisner.
Eisner's. Ethan, he'll always be like, I was nominated for an Oscar. What the fuck does that even mean? First of all, people barely know what comic books are in general. You think they give a fuck what the awards are? Like when a comic book, like when a trade or an omnibus has a header and it says, this book won an Eisner. That doesn't have any impact if whether I bought that book. Means nothing. Or when like you see like IGN or CBR being like, this comic book transformed the way we thought about this character. It's like, give a fuck. I'm just buying it if I fucking like the book or if I thought it looked cool.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but if I won an award, I'll be having that shit on a t-shirt. Like, I want to get that shit tattooed on me. God, Eisner Award winner.
Like, you'll fucking pick up a trade in a Barnes & Noble and they'll have a header from IGN. It'll be like, this comic book made me have so many orgasms and got me late so many times. All right.
IGN's lost all their fucking credibility anyways. They have no credibility left.
I'm like, Shane, get the fuck out of here. He's like, I get so much money from my other previous creations. I never disagree with that. If he gets money from his previous creations, sure, but let's be honest here, no one cares what Shane does, guys. Anything Shane Davis was only known for the stuff he did at Marvel and DC. That's it. But he was talking about like, well, being an independent creator pays me more. No one ever disagreed with that. I never disagree with that. I think that's fine that you get paid more doing your own thing than working for them. I don't know if you guys have been living under a rock, but if you ever see me say that it's a bad thing to get paid doing your own shit away from the big two, I need to stop. I'll give my whole channel to Warren. You can have it. If I ever say that, you need to fucking I'll hand my channel to one of you guys. I'll never say that. I know how much money they get paid, at least from Marvel. DC might be a little bit higher. We know it's worthless. We know the creators get treated like shit. So when you have Shane Davis out here being like, man, I make more money doing my own thing. Congratulations. I want you to do your own thing. But let's not confuse that with you being some like known person. It's like being called a New York Times bestseller just don't mean shit. Sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. No.
Fucking worthless.
I'd still parade that shit around if I wanted.
Like it's a cool, nice accolade to have, but it's like,
cool.
Because this guy, oh god, I fucking hate that guy. He's so boring most of the time.
I've heard of the name, but I don't know much about him.
He's just a boring guy. His takes are awful for the most part. He has no personality. He has to fake it so hard when he does this whole mange thing. It's just, good Lord, fuck that guy. But someone who does have talent is Jason Aaron, debatably, arguably,
yes.
Sometimes.
Well, you mentioned about going away from the superhero stuff. When you go away to Image where Jason Aaron does something, or if it's Scott Snyder or anyone, what you get is them untapped without no restrictions, no canon, no like you need to do our heroes this way and set up this event. This is Jason Aaron writing what Jason Aaron wants, and you always get the best stuff that way. And and this is definitely one of his top.
We're going to be going over that in just a moment. Let me make sure I have his resume up here. Okay. He's wrote so much shit. Yeah, this guy has written a lot of shit.
Oh yeah.
I forget he co-created Gore the God Butcher. I forget.
Yeah, he was part of that. That was part of his run with the 3 Thors.
Yeah, that was better than his other run on Thor that people said, which had the Jane Foster Thor take over or
become a thing in that. He was part of that.
Yeah. This guy's wrote a lot of stuff. Jesus Christ, this guy's got a big career. Holy shit!
Yeah, I've read.
That's crazy. All you Marvel's MCU simps out there, we know that they had Gore the God Butcher as a main villain in Thor: Love and Shit. How much money do you guys think Jason Aaron got paid for that?
Probably zero.
Probably nothing.
That's why
they might have gave him a $500 check, and we're being really generous about that. I would say zero, honestly, but yeah,
they gave him a free movie pass and one of those Thor popcorn cups. It
could be as bad as Ed Brubaker. He got $1,000 and an invite to the premiere.
Can you imagine? Oh Jesus,
so disgusting.
Your friends have to be all like, dude, your character. This must be great. You must be awesome, dude. And you're all like, no, they didn't do shit for me. They haven't talked to me like that.
All right, now, okay, let's get this done. We got a topic, and then we're gonna hit the bangers. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are gonna be a black guy, then you must fuck a white girl. Okay, we're joking. Nope. Sorry, my brain completely fried out there. My brain is working. It's not fried. It's constantly on.
In with the good, out with the bad.
The bad staying in.
Okay, go for it.
I had you guys in the first half knocking a lot. I was like, I'm going to get these guys. But no, I'm joking. All seriousness. Let's get this going. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be doing a comic book review on Bug Wars #1. This is a Image comic book mini series of me getting my asshole blown out by your guys' mom with a dildo.
Strike 2.
Swing and a miss. God. DK, what's up, man? How you doing? MSK, you need a sway though vacation. I think you're burnt out and need rest. I'm never burnt out. I'm on fire most of these days. Give me one sec, guys. Adjust my webcam. It was okay. Good Lord, what's my webcam doing tonight? Go down. Fuck. Okay, now I'm looking a lot more professional. All right, okay. Jokes aside, we're gonna have some quality content for you guys tonight. This is what quality is, encompassing nothing, and me just bullshitting you guys because nothing I just said there right at that exact moment means anything. I'm joking, guys. All right. Where's Warren's dog? He's probably sleeping somewhere.
He's probably upstairs.
Damn little dogs. Let's do this. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be doing a comic book review on Bug Wars #1. So this is a 6-issue miniseries coming out of Image Comics, and it is a series being written by Jason Aaron with art being done by Mahmoud Asrar. And Jason Aaron is a comic book writer that you guys have probably heard of because he has written so many stories for Marvel Comics and DC Comics, actually. He is the person that is the co-creator of Gore the God Butcher. As you guys remember, he was the main villain of that terrible Thor movie, Thor Love and Thunder. So I imagine Jason Aaron wasn't too happy about the portrayal of Gore the God Butcher in that movie. But he's worked on, his own series called Scalped and Southern Bastards. What a name for a series called Southern Bastards. Holy fuck. He's written on Ghost Rider, Wolverine, Punisher Max, Thor, and the Avengers. And this guy just has so much to his name. Holy shit. He has Original Sin. He has the Mighty Thor. He's worked on Star Wars. He's worked on Doctor Strange. He's worked on Conan the Barbarian. This guy's pretty much just, did it all at this point. And currently, he is writing on the new TMNT ongoing comic book series at IDW when they had that big, relaunch for the TMNT at a certain point. Wait a minute. My brain's fried.
Man, people smoke crack and you shouldn't do that.
You think I did meth before today?
No, you'd be much more energetic and jittery.
Oh, shit. Okay. Fourth time's the charm. Brain's going to work. I promise. All right. Let's do it. Let's go Super Saiyan 1. Super Saiyan 3. My brain would fry. All right. Let's woosah. Things okay? In, out. I fucked my wife. Then I fucked her sister. And then I fucked her mom. Sounds like a really good night, honestly. Holy fuck. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be doing a comic book review on Bug Wars #1. So this is a Image comic book series that is going to be 6 issues, and it is being written by Jason Aaron with art done by Mahmoud Asrar. So Jason Aaron is a comic book writer, as you guys probably all know, because he has been working at Marvel Comics and he has did stuff for mostly for them, as I know, and he is the creator, or people say co-creator, of the character Gore the God Butcher, and that villain was utilized in Thor Love and Thunder, that absolutely abysmal, terrible superhero movie, because that movie was pure shit. And I imagine, given how we know Jason Aaron is, I imagine he wasn't very happy with how Gore the God Butcher was used in that movie. But, given the fact that he probably has their side of politics, he probably was very happy about it. But who knows? I'll just say for you, Jason, they treated your character like absolute shit. But outside of that, this guy has worked on so many prominent, characters and series, actually. He has his own series that he is the creator of, a series called Scalp and a series called Southern Bastards. What a name for a series to be calling it. Southern Bastards. That has to be one of the goated names for a series. But this guy's credits are The Other Side, Scalped, Ghost Rider, Wolverine Weapon X, Punisher Max, Wolverine and the X-Men, Thor, God of Thunder, Original Sin, Southern Bastards, The Mighty Thor, Star Wars, Doctor Strange, The Avengers, and Conan the Barbarian, as he's worked on a lot of those series, actually, and has been a writer on a lot of those books, actually. So what I really enjoy about what Image Comics and Dark Horse Comics and to some extent IDW and Boom Studios can allow for people is that if a prominent creator, whether they're writer or artist, they can kind of flex their works in the independent space, because he got his break essentially doing like the independent stuff I heard originally. And then you also have, him essentially being able to be unleashed right now in a series like this, because currently Jason Aaron, from what I remember, he's working on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ongoing series at IDW when they had that big like relaunch for TMNT, because it's one of their biggest properties and they try to basically relaunch it whenever they can to sell some new number ones. But Jason Aaron was attached to the TMNT series recently, and he also is currently writing on Absolute Superman, which is the absolute, book for DC Comics currently right now. And I'm pretty sure that that's his first DC comic book he's actually writing for, which is interesting because he was actually rumored to write on the new Batman relaunch ongoing series coming out. And I was like, oh, given his writing style, him writing Batman would be, how about a no? How about an absolute fuck no about that? But this is something that I like, that something like him can have happen to him, because you can essentially have your own creator-owned IPs here at Image Comics, and then if they ever take off and they maybe want to make a movie out of it, this is a series I could see having like a 6-issue, comic book series that could eventually get turned into a 6-episode, limited series, or maybe a movie out of it. I'll be honest here, if they ever made a movie out of this or a TV series, I would definitely watch it. This is such a fun concept right here. Awesome. Think of like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids mixed in with like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's definitely rated R. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It's pretty hardcore. Right off the bat, it's hardcore. Like I saw a dude's dick in this.
I did. There's a guy's huge wang in this, and he's getting his head cut off. So I know a lot of people generally like to always ask the creators who do these kind of reviews, is this book good enough for my kids to read? No. This is actually labeled a mature book. Like, it's actually labeled that. Even on like ICV2, if you ever look up like the sales charts, this is, I want to make sure I reiterate this. This is a mature book. This is not something for like little kids. Now, if your kid who's like 13, 14, 15 years old watch Game of Thrones, this is fine if they can actually take it. But anything less than like a 13-year-old who can't watch that stuff, no, this is not a kid-friendly book. Then again, I also argue that most superhero books aren't kid-friendly related either, but that's a different discussion for another day.
This one goes.
This one is full-blown rated R. Yeah. And the other thing that I really enjoyed that this book did was that when you had an ad, because you had a fake ad in the middle of the book. This is the way I think you should honestly promote your creators. You basically have an ad where you show off everything that they've done in the independent space, or at least roughly that they did recently, right? So in this ad, you had a bunch of trade paperbacks for the series that Jason Aaron has worked on. You have The Goddamned. What a name. This man. You have the first 2 trades of The Goddamned. You have Men of Wrath. Honestly, and some of these look so good from the covers. I was like, you know what? Maybe I might check some of these out. This is awesome that Image Comics does it. I hope they do this with everyone else. We can just basically layer out all the person's work and then categorize it in order, and then say, hey, these aren't floppies. These are just trades. And you have basically 2 volumes of The Goddamn, Men of Wrath, Southern Bastards. It's all the way up to like the 4th trade. And you have this other one called Sea of Stars. That one's currently on the 2nd trade currently right now. Then you have the ad for his next issue of Bug Wars at the end. Perfect way to do ads. It doesn't kind of randomly come in when you're reading the book constantly, and it's just, you get a fake one. It's funny. It's a cool little gag. And then you get the end page ad where it's the final page, and you have this one. So I thought that was really, really good. Also, this book basically was something that Image Comics promoted on their Twitter account, actually, when I first saw it. And it looked kind of cool. I saw this cover art, and I was like, that looks really, really cool. And I added it to my pull list, and then when Thinking Critical had his best comic books of the week recommendations he does with his friend Drew, he had this on there, and I was like, okay, I made sure I ordered it on my pull list that week. And then I said to Warren and Professor Savage that you guys going to get Bug Wars #1. They were like, yeah, because I showed you what it looked like, how many pages, because, we're not really fans of the whole 24-page floppy format anymore. I would like if they were just like this, honestly, but it's whatever, obviously. So after that, we ended up reading it, and now we're going to end up giving you guys more thoughts on it. But the last thing that I'll say before we start going over the concepts of the book was that this is actually 44 pages, I think, actually, and that's what I think more floppy should move to, is having like a 40 to 64-page format. Like, you guys know the Batman Brave and the Bold books that I have them all in order. They're like called prestige editions, and those books are like 64 pages. I think that's where floppy should head to, being basically 2 issues worth rather than just being 1 issue worth, because you can tell where this would have ended off being an issue 1 after they had that storm happen in the middle part of the book before they got to the humans. That would have been your 24-page cutoff, but they added in the extra 20 pages, and I feel like that made the book even better with that. Imagine if this was just 24 pages. That'd be like, damn, that would feel not bad because it was fine, but it's like a little bit more meat on the bone would have made me kind of be more convinced to buy issue 2. And I feel like the reason why this book sold very well was because you not only started out with 40 pages, you also got, you know, enough meat on the bones to go, okay, I want issue 2. This is a series that I'm going to be continuing. Yeah. Keep in mind, guys, it's only 6 issues. So it won't be on your pull list for long, but I think it's a good thing to have on your pull list because you can get away from Marvel and DC right now with the writer. You guys seem to very enjoy his work, so you can also help the guy on his own creator-owned shit that he has at Image Comics, actually. So this is kind of like a nerd thing. I did like the paper quality of the book. I did love it. It felt like a mini little trade, in my opinion, which I thought was cool. Marvel and DC
reminds me of This reminds me of Kickstarter books. When you got a good pro, I mean, when they send you a book, it's usually at this high level of card stock for the cover, as well as the interior pages. This felt like a Kickstarter, because usually with the big 3, they go down in quality on paper for mass production, but this is really well done. It felt really good. This is well worth the $4.99 on it.
Yeah, and this guy, you know, he's gotten, you know, a lot of criticism for a lot of his, you know, ideas that he's tried to put into Marvel Comics. Actually, you know, he was the main writer on the series that had Jane Foster becoming Thor. You know, and keep in mind, guys, you know, sometimes you have some ideas at work, some don't. It's just really all it is, right? And I don't ever really truly think that just because that's an idea that it automatically means it's bad. It all just depends on the execution. Like, some ideas just off the general principle are not good because they're stupid. Like when Marvel announces a book called fucking NYX. Well, that's just canceled from announcement alone. You know that shit's not lasting 10 issues, right?
Yeah.
But this concept where, like, when people can try to do certain things in books not being good because they came out not good. No, it's all just execution. If it's executed in a way that's good, that's kind of meaningful, where it kind of makes sense in the confines of that story, then it's fine, honestly, you know? And I did like the cover for this because it shows you on the back, if you look hard enough, I thought that was the brother. It looked like that was the brother with the can of bug spray right there.
Yeah.
With the very back. I thought it was cool. So we're going to get into the book. And you start off with the cover gallery. You guys know Peach Momoko. She's currently, I think, she's like working on Ultimate X-Men right now for Marvel Comics currently right now. I don't know if she's the writer or the artist, but I think she's one of them. So you get the cover art right there. And honestly, the narration at the first part of the book where you start going over like all the different tribes, you know, how they interact with each other, looks really, really cool. So basically you kind of have like ant people, and then you kind of have the beetle people. Actually, that's kind of how I took it. So then they have like this giant war, and it's very gruesome. It's illustrated beautifully. What a beautifully illustrated book. Man, this easily is one of the best floppies that I read so far this year. Beautifully illustrated. The battle was very gruesome, felt very mature related. Like the ants and the beetles, you could tell were just being the things that they ride to attack. This is kind of like an idea that everyone had as a kid, where like you think like, man, do bug people, do ants and fucking critters do this when we don't know? Because obviously we would never know. This is like one of those really cool ideas you think of, like maybe when you leave your house, does your appliances turn on and start partying or some shit? It's always been in the back of everyone's head. It's always been like that for a lot of people when they think of certain things.
I love these kind of stories because you can tell, especially as a writer, I could tell like this is something that you come up with while you're doing chores around the house, or, you know, and then when you get those great little spark ideas, it just roller coasters and you have so much fun fleshing it out and creating it. I have a whole entire one shot that I made. It was made off of a meme. I just saw the meme. It inspired an idea, and then before I knew it, I had like 36-page comic books. So it's a lot. It's really cool and inspiring when you see someone just having complete fun with something. And Jason Aaron was having a blast while he was writing this.
And the battle where like the one character's talking and he just gets automatically just sliced in half. I mean, there's a part in this book where a guy's wang was hanging out. So,
yeah,
very deep. And then after the narration about how the certain tribes were fighting each other and things like that, then they have this thing called the Great Storm. But then it's shown that after this great storm that all the tribes just basically just ended up kind of like fending for themselves in areas and trying to basically survive on their own and all that. So then it comes
to Walter, there are two different kinds of bee tribes in this. There's spider tribes, bee tribes, beetle tribes. Yeah, there's spiders. It's like a whole kingdom ecosystem in this backyard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The bees ones are right here. I think it's that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it basically gives the glimpse that there's many different bug or insect tribes that kind of, went their own way after this storm that happened where it ended off the war and it killed a bunch of people. But then you realize something to yourself. I knew this was going to happen, but, one thing that came into my mind, you knew it was a lawnmower. You knew these kind of stories, you kind of know it was going to be a lawnmower. So then it goes to the second part of the book where it's the human characters. So you have the mom and the two sons. You have the older kid and you have the younger kid. So they moved back to this house after their dad apparently ended up tragically passing away. Then you learn more about what's going on. So the younger boy is interested in insects because his dad was interested in insects. The mom has to work 2 jobs, so she later on has to leave early. Then it's revealed the reason why that the older brother doesn't like insects is because he walked in on his dad one day being devoured by the insects, actually. So he's not just one of those like random dicks because he's just a fucking dick, because that's how most of those characters would be. There's a somewhat legitimate reason why he would be very terrified of insects himself and wants to basically kill them, So then
that's
after
traumatizing a bit.
Yeah. A bit. Good Lord.
It explains why he looks like the lead singer from Deathlock books from Deathlock.
I'm not gonna say that dude looked like a stereotypical fucking guitarist in a metal band or a screamo band.
Yeah.
So then after that, the main character, the blonde kid, is talking to his main beetle. So this main beetle that he likes a lot, and then the older son is like, hey, you killed my dad. I'm going to make sure you're all gone because the bugs are still infested into this house. And that's even just crazy, too. Why is a family moving into a house full of bugs or infested? It's like, didn't you not do like the pre-prep to figure that out? Like you would have to walk through the house to figure this out. But those are like my only real issues is like, why did a family go to a house and move into it knowing that there were bugs there? Because you would have to have looked through it before you even moved there, The
only reason why is because since they lost the dad, this was their original home where the dad died at, and she had a bankruptcy, and this is the only thing they have left. So they have to live here.
Yeah.
And the mom's been trying to get Exterminator, but no one wants to go there because the dude died in there and was eaten by bugs. So they're like, no, we ain't doing that job, lady.
So then after that, the older son breaks into his younger brother's room and just starts killing all of everything, and then one of the beetles ends up escaping, the main one, actually, and then he ends up chasing his younger brother because his younger brother's trying to get the main beetle that's his friend. And then after that, the older brother ends up tripping on some shit and then gets bugs over him. I thought that was decent little karma right there. So then you get to the next part where the beetle is in this crack in the wall, actually. And then you also have this other moment where, the boy ends up finding out about all of this equipment that his dad was working on and all the stuff in the basement. And then the brother ends up finding him in the basement And then when he tries to grab his beetle to save him, he ends up touching this amulet right there. This amulet ends up shrinking him down to being microscopic size on top of his beetle. Yep. So now you're at Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And then this one tribe, I'm pretty sure that looks like one of the beetle-ish tribes, they end up capturing the beetle, and then they also capture the main character. And then they, basically curse at him. They threaten to kill him, and then because the boy's like, damn, this was like a dream. And he's like, does this feel like a dream? Where he has a knife to his back of his neck. And then, he told the kid he was going to fuck his face. I was like, what the hell? Man, just completely crazy story dialogue. Like completely barbaric people you have right there. And then, the main character's like, damn, I'm tired of being pushed around. He's like, fuck this dream. And he just completely punches through one of the villains' heads, completely just kills him right there. And then after that, he didn't really understood what he did there. He's like, I never killed anything before, not even a bug. Technically, if you're killing a bug, it's not really killing a human, but I guess it's the whole sentiment of like taking a life. He's also a young kid as well. And then the tribe is like, what the hell is going on? Because they thought the guy that was leading the tribe had him. And the narration kicks in where I guess it's the main character saying this back, remembering it, where he says, part of me wonders if I could go back now after seeing everything I've seen, everything I've become, after the adventures in the yard and the wars and the truth about Dad, would I still reach for that amulet if given the chance? Or would I run for the fucking hills? Now, the only other issue I have with the book was that it never really showed him reaching for the amulet. He did, but in that context right there, that I had to go pull the pages back. It doesn't really show that he reached for it. He was just reaching for the beetle and then accidentally touched the amulet. But from his perspective, he wouldn't have known if he grabbed for it. It's just right there. So I think maybe an extra little mini panel right there would have did the book some justice. But overall, this was awesome. Awesome book. Awesome pacing. Dialogue was good. You felt the mature setting throughout the book. You felt that it was a serious book to the point where it had its fair share of, emotional moments as well as its fair share of like humorous moments. The humorous moments weren't like downplayed with any seriousness, and then vice versa as well. But like the serious moments weren't downplayed with humor as well. Well, I'll ask you, man, what else did you enjoy about the book actually?
It was a great setup. It was like I'm glad they did the 44 pages. The beginning, I was the same way as I knew this was a lawnmower when the tornado, the storm comes through.
Yeah.
But I smiled because I just love that, and the way he has all of this normal stuff in the yard. Like if you walk through a backyard, you're gonna find the spider webs. You're gonna find beetle nests in the brush, a corpse and the maggot monks. It's just really clever. I like the duality. Like since the kid was so small, he doesn't even remember his father. He is just like his dad, invested in the bugs, loves them, and then the boy, the older brother, he who I thought was going to be the main when I was reading through this, he just absolutely hates them all, but he's found his dad dead and looked like the bugs were eating him. So yeah, that one was great. I did think it was going to be the older brother that went to the bug world. I didn't realize it was going to be the younger one. And the narration at the end too, that was cool. There is so much going on in this first story, and even if all 6 of them are 40 pages, I feel like there's no way he's going to be able to wrap this up in 6 issues.
Doesn't feel like
this
it.
Has to be an ongoing, like the six issues would be like, okay, this is the first part of my story, and then issue 7, 8, 9, 10. Like I really hope that this is planned out to be more. This is
it feels like it would need to be capped out at a 12 issue series, because if you guys don't remember, Jason Aaron was a part of that Superstar initiative on Action Comics. You know how like where basically they're going to invite a big comic book writer to write a 3-part arc on Action Comics. He did this one with Action Comics that got cut short from what I was told actually. So given the fact that people like his writing, if it's kind of like in a longer format, not like in a mini series, I thought the same thing. It's like he would need more books to finish this out. This would feel so much better potentially, given what we feel about issue 2, if it's like maybe 8 issues or 10 issues max. Because if you're looking at all the different fractions that basically could be in a garden, if you're thinking about a fantasy world, I would want a lot more out of that. So it's like you could really kind of go in a bunch of different places with a story like this.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah,
with all the different tribes. I mean, you could have a 6-issue miniseries on each one of these, which it might
you could
be
spend like 2 issues
too.
alone just on the spiders or the bees, or like maybe fucking hell, squirrels. There's snakes. There's so much here. That's awesome. It's a really awesome idea. I'm glad something like this exists. It's a really cool concept there. This is what indie comics should be. Concepts like these that you couldn't really do in like Marvel or DC because it wouldn't make any sense, because you have a bunch of like indie people that are just retreading the same shit because they couldn't be original if it fucking hit them over the head with a bat. Honestly,
it's this is and this is prime for a streaming cartoon. Like the people who do like Transylvania, or the people in Amazon who are doing stuff like Invincible. This would be a great cartoon. So I hope that there's more planned, and I hope that it is going to go on for a while, because I can see this going on 50 issues, 100 issues. You know what I mean? It's like this is a fun story. So I'm in. Like I have issue 2. I'm gonna read it when the stream's done. Like this is, I'm really enjoying this.
I can't wait to get issue 2. I have it literally added to my pull list, and when I get paid, I'm gonna get all the titles that I have currently coming up that I need to get. For as far as like Jason Aaron, really great idea here, really great concept. Can't wait to see it pan out for the next 4 issues after we get done reviewing this one. This guy's basically written at DC, Marvel, Batman Offworld was his 6-issue limited series with that. He had the Action Comics arc. He's on Absolute Superman. He's writing here.
He wants to write every character in comic books. Like, he's gonna call me up one of these days. It's like, hey, you're on my list. I need to write a Sig and Joe story. Like,
God, man. But I will say this: if you guys are interested in something that's not like super related, this is for you. You're only currently right now when we're doing this 2 issues in, so it's nothing long of a series to binge so far. And what we know right now, it's only going to be a 6-issue miniseries, but I'd imagine, given that the sales are there, they're going to extend it, but that's only if the sales are there. So
are they all going to be 44?
Oh, sir, I don't know yet. Actually,
okay. I need to. I'm wondering if the sequel that I bought, it feels as big as this. So I think the first 2 are 40 plus pages. So if it's all 44 pages, that's essentially 2 floppies per book. So that's like an 8-issue series. So that's a pretty. He can cover a lot of ground in that. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Okay, I have it right here. Second issue was 28 pages.
Oh, okay. So it's not so 44 for the first one, 28 for the next.
Yeah, it feels like an oversized issue to kind of grab you and get you in, which I think is fine. Issue 3 is 32 pages.
Oh, okay.
And if they're only keeping like ads basically on like this page right here and this page, it really does feel like you're not getting like, because people count like the ads in the story too, actually. And issue 4 is 32 pages as well, And then I think the rest of the issues are all 32 pages for what I know. I mean, keep in mind, they haven't announced issue 6 yet. So I don't know how many pages issue 6 will have, honestly. So, all right. So this was chapter. Wait, sorry. Give me 1 sec. Holy fucking shit. What the hell? All these notes from? Oh, there's too many notes. That's what I'm going to go over. The illustrations for the concepts, for how we came up with all these. Cool as hell, honestly. And it gives you little mini descriptions on all of them. Also cool. So if you didn't really understand it from the narration, they did go a little bit further to explain like the other parts of the world as well. Awesome. But this is the first book of Bug Wars, Lost in the Yard, Chapter 1, The House of Slaymaker, actually. So, yeah, Jason Aaron, comic book writer who's worked at Marvel, DC, you know, freaking IDW. He has his own stuff going. You know, can't really deny he's putting in the work. Can't ever deny that. You might not like all the stories, but he is putting in the work. He's worked on pretty much everything at this point. So, yeah, man, any other closing thoughts and opinions you have about Bug Wars #1?
It's Jason Aaron at his best. One thing you can say about Jason Aaron, with as much as he's done, you're not going to hit gold every single time, and he has no problem jumping into someone else's pool. He has no problem working on other characters. He has kind of a fearlessness when he writes, which is cool. And this is well worth it. And I highly recommend it. And thank you for recommending this to me, because I would have never even heard about this until you guys were mentioning it. And I'm like, oh, I'll try it out. And yeah, I'm glad I did, because this is some top-notch shit right here. So
yeah, I would honestly hope more people check this out. This has my stamp of approval of a gigabanger, as I would say, actually.
Yeah, I'm going to pick up the graphic novel when they release that. Like, yeah. I would get the floppies and the graphic novel, because I double buy stuff all the time.
Yeah, as I always say to you guys, those trades come in handy. I don't want to go through my fucking boxes. I'm trying to have it all right there in front of me. So, for me, great starting off. Issue 1 for a 6-issue miniseries. 40 pages was awesome, because you can basically get enough of the story right then and there to grab you, to potentially give you the excitement to get issue 2. Jason Aaron, great job on here. Beautifully illustrated book. And yeah, gets a recommendation from me. And if you don't want to get it right now in floppy, don't worry. Just get the trade. Pretty sure you will enjoy it. So, also, keep in mind, if you don't want to go and buy Marvel and DC comic books, if you always say, I don't want to support Marvel and DC, you know, if you're really a comic book fan, you could go support Image or Dark Horse or Boom, or, you know, literally any of the other fucking companies that don't produce what Marvel and DC does. People, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but go to Image. Image has so much cool shit coming out right now. Mm-hmm. And they got everything. Crime noir, regular superhero action. They do rated R. They got great, great stories, brutal action. Yeah, it's well worth. Like, when I dropped out of comics and came back to them, mm-hmm. I came back in through Dark Horse and Image, and it was reading The Goon, reading Spawn, reading the stuff that was coming out through those independents, and it was just completely You're
like, damn, this is a whole new world here.
Yeah, I was like, wow,
because I feel like, dude, people only. It's crazy, because I feel like people will only ever see comic books through the eyes of Marvel and DC, and I understand it. They're the big legacy brands. I understand that. But if you guys can truly see other creative works out there, whether you're buying it independently, not in any publisher, or any of the other publishers that are major producing any titles, I feel like you'll fully get other better stories out there that you would never have been exposed to if you only just concentrate on Marvel and DC stuff. I buy Marvel and DC stuff all the time. I really do. That's most of my collection. But once in a while, it's always good to venture out and try something new. You know, try issue 1. Yeah, if you didn't like it, if you don't like an issue 1, that's fine. But at least you tried something different. You know, it's like when I have sex with my wife. Like, if she doesn't want to try fucking doggy style, we can have anal sex, right? Oh God. So thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, and we're gonna sign out, guys. See you guys later. Deuces. Peace. All right. Kitty, how you doing? This lady. Kitty, you were looking like all types of a snack today. Good. She did come back from Japan. Kitty, did you miss me? Did you miss me at all?
She probably didn't.
She didn't.
Did you think about MSK at all during the trip?
She was like, damn, did you see any black people in Japan? I heard they're not there, which is good. That means less crime.
Not according to Assassin's Creed. There's at least one dude there.
Apparently, he was a legendary retainer that no one ever knew about until they announced it in a video game, and they apparently always knew he was a retainer.
Oh, she cried every night thinking about you.
Lies. As her husband was completely pounding her in the bed, she was thinking of me. Never happened. No, that never happened. Yeah, it really just depends. I have a list of stuff we have to do. So just because I haven't read it yet doesn't mean I won't be ever getting to it. I mean, after this, we're probably going to end up going through the single issues of Rook Exodus, actually, because I know they're dropping the trade coming out, I think, next week. But I don't know if it's better to just review that all in a trade or if we just kind of review it single issues, because that's a lot of, like, those books are like, those were also like 40 to 28 pages too. So I'll kind of see, given how much content we're trying to do on the show, is it more worthwhile doing the single issues or doing the trade? You know, because I think based off what Wes said from Thinking Critical, it's better to kind of do that series in single issue form, but trade is, I imagine it's fine too. I don't know yet. We'll see. But I'm putting up this. This is done.
Yeah, I've got the first 10 of Rook, so I think the first 10 of the floppies. I'll probably pick up the trade when it comes out too, though.
Like, do you think it's better if we just kind of read it all at once in a trade, or you just want to do the single issues?
Well, I have the single issues, so I mean that saves me money.
Yeah,
so.
Probably do the single issues. We'll do that then. The Assassin's Creed backlash is dumb in my opinion, considering that all of the controversial aspects aren't even a thing if you just play canon mode in the game. Yeah, it's one of those things where I only kind of criticize. I only really talk about game franchises. I'm joking. I only really criticize game franchises that I play. The reason why I would never talk about Assassin's Creed is because I've never played an Assassin's Creed game. You know how weird that would be, criticizing a game series that you've never played a single thing out of? I don't do that. I only talk about game news for things that I've played or things that I know of that I've been following for a long time. You know, I always thought Assassin's Creed was just for fucking losers, honestly. But that's just me.
I've played all of them. Asshole.
Oh no!
And, I want to play this one once it goes on sale because
it'll be on sale for $5 by Black
Friday. It'll be in about like 2 months. It'll be on sale for half off.
And for Dragon Age of Veilguard, remember they were offering it for free on PlayStation Plus. Remember that?
No one was playing it, so then they
no one even played it when it was offered for free.
Yeah, they had to do something, and even after they offered it for free, PlayStation Plus players are all like, "No, we're not playing this crap."
You know what's kind of crazy? If she really cried every night and we were laughing at her, she just got so mad probably. I don't know. I don't know women. You guys are all weird, actually. Hey, she said hey to Walter over me? What the hell? I did. Basically, I just opened figurines and gotcha capsules on stream. What the hell? Oh my goodness. I think her trip, she's going to say her trip was overrated. She came back quick. She said she was going to be gone for a while. She came back quick because, you know, Wang Qingshang people are, you know.
Oh, I would love to go to Japan. I would love it so much.
Okay, Rachel Zegler. Okay. Oh, dude, did you see the video of her at the movie theater in an empty crowd watching her own movie?
Someone had to watch it.
Fuck. Jeez.
How was its first weekend? I never did look up the box office.
It made 88 million opening weekend. It was projected to do 190 like Captain America 4. So it made $80 million. It made like $70 million less than Brave New World.
Is that weekend. Worldwide too?
Yeah, it made 88 million worldwide.
Oh, that's
on a $270 million budget. That's terrible.
It's only going to go down from here. Like it's not like next week.
It'll make what Madam Web did, which is terrible.
Yeah, that's not good for Disney.
That's a mega flop. That's not been a flop. That's just. What's that Fairly Odd Parents meme of the fucking guy shoveling money into a fire pit? That's
essentially.
She said it wasn't quick and it wasn't overrated. I'd go back anytime. Lies. You look so happy coming back home. I did. You're one of the more attractive ladies we have around here. We got to have hot ladies around here, you know? And that's not true. I'll show you guys messages that I don't get from my ex. I don't talk to her. A lady's borderline crazy. I don't talk to that broad. She only talks to me whenever she wants something, you know? Literally, they could have just put out the animated Snow White movie, just re-released it with updated picture quality and aspect ratio and all that. Like they re-released the older movies with updated modern effects to make them look better. They could just do that for free. They already don't have to do anything.
Or they could have just made a live action and actually used the script of the cartoon instead of trying to change everything around and being stupid. I would rather seen Pixar do these remakes in their CG style than watch live actions. Well, I mean, the Lion Kings aren't really even live action. Nothing on that screen is real. It's all created on CG. It's not out in the Sahara filming people in mocap suits. Like it is the most, it's ridiculous. Like, it's a live action Lion King. There is nothing real in that entire movie. So it's not even live action.
The Lion Kings can get. Oh, Michael asked me if we covered the Avengers casting. Yeah, we did. We covered it on last night's show for the first part before we went to the topic. Yeah. The only other thing that I could add to the conversation is that if you notice clearly, because this is how you know Marvel is just a stupid company where all they do is virtue signal. They only had, out of the characters they announced, because keep in mind, the announcements aren't done. They only announced 4 female characters out of the 20 that they announced yesterday. Now, RDJ did clarify there's more castings coming, so there could be more women on the way. But the reaction that people got when they announced less women than men, because they're like, oh, Disney and Marvel are treating the women bad. They don't want to put them in Doomsday. Almost as if like this company's been tricking you the entire time, fooling you that they actually care about anything other than their bottom line, like their dollar signs. Guys, they don't care about women. They don't care about gay people. They don't care about Looney Tunes. They don't care about none of you. Come on, I wouldn't care about Looney Tunes either. Those people are fucking weird. But they don't give a fuck about none of you. I don't know why you believe them in anything, really, unless it's actually factually provable they did the thing that they said they were going to do. All those women movies and TV shows, if they had been successful, it would justify a reason for them to get more things. They weren't. They were not good. They didn't make any money. Most of them bombed insanely hard, and they're not good characters. So what the fuck would I want to see them more of? The only ones here that they put in was Florence Pugh so far, the bitch who plays Ghost. That bitch is Ghost is a trash character. Shuri, who's Black Panther now. Fuck.
Brie Larson's going to be there. Camilla Khan or whatever her name is.
They didn't announce her. Yeah, you're right. They didn't announce Brie Larson. Holy shit.
The girl who plays Miss Marvel. What's her name?
Oh, Kamala Khan. She'll probably be there.
She'll probably be in it.
Photon will, because she was in the Marvels in that post-credit scene.
Yeah, she was a post-credit scene with Kelsey Grammer's Beast. So they essentially announced the retro people and what the current movies right now. So like they mentioned Black Panther actors, they mentioned Fantastic Four actors, they mentioned the actors from
Fox Marvel
Captain America,
characters.
Fox Marvel, and so there's going to be a lot more in it. It's going to be a whole group. It'll be the whole thing, and plus too, it might be one of those things where some of these characters are not going to get as much screen time. This Avengers movie and the Russo brothers plan to do more for them in Doom's. Was it called Doomsday or Doom?
Yeah, whatever. No, remember before it was called the Kang Dynasty?
Yeah, that was a Kang Dynasty. Then they retconned all of that.
Yeah, because Jonathan Majors got into some. It was crazy. I actually genuinely thought he didn't do anything really that bad, but apparently he came out and said he kind of admitted to what he did, and I was like, yeah, that's not gonna get you hired by Marvel anymore. So Walter had said, Kitty said, people are spending a lot of time talking about the actress because she's so annoying, but that actually distracts from how bad the movie is. But then again, you guys have to realize this. People are criticizing shit before we've seen the movie. Like, keep in mind, those are still red flags. Those are things that are intrinsically linked. You could have like bad casting and that get talked about in the same vein that if a movie's coming out, it's like bad too. Like, I don't think it really matters, honestly. Yeah, the casting's bad and the product you got was written like shit. I don't think it's one or the other, honestly, because they're both bad. But it's just a red flag that if you cast someone that looks like her, who doesn't look like someone else, that's still a red flag. Because keep in mind, that's the image of the character itself that's supposed to be presentable to other people. That's a very big idea. That's a very big thing if you miscast someone. Like people always say, like you have like people sometimes say they liked Ben Affleck as Daredevil, but he was in a horribly written movie. They don't criticize the casting. The only casting that's like really criticized is Michael Clark Duncan one, right? But people liked his acting in it, so I kind of didn't matter, right? But I think it's all the same, honestly. If a character gets casted and it's a race swap or a gender swap, that's a huge red flag. That is undoubtedly a red flag.
And Walter makes a great point in the chat. He's it's all the casting aside, bad writing doesn't mean it means none of it's going to fucking work. So Renee Zellweger, or whatever her name is, she could have been perfect to play Snow White, but it's a shit movie with bad writing.
Yeah. So essentially it's destined to fail no matter what.
That's one thing that James Gunn made a point at. And it was a shot at Marvel, and it was a shot that Marvel should have listened to. Was like, we're not going to red light any movies until the script is done and it's good. That is a direct shot at Marvel, because Secret Wars, the director afterwards said that he was writing the script as the movies were coming, or as they were filming. You hear about these script rewrites, and you hear about them rushing into production where day one production starts and they're just writing down scenes. So it's the writing is the real plague of Marvel. It really has nothing to do with the pandering shit. That's part of it. But if you had good written movies, that pandering shit wouldn't be nearly as bad. It wouldn't go over as badly.
That's the problem with the MCU and Disney Plus Star Wars shows, is that the writing of those shows are so unbelievably bad, but the opposite end of the spectrum, those people, they always focus on, well, you're just shitting on it because it's a woman lead. It's like, no. The reason why they want you focused on shitting on the women leads, because they're not good anyway. They want to distract you from how bad the things are. I think that applies to the shows more than the movies itself, because the shows are just, oh my God, you could have casted a fucking dog fucking a cat. That would have made that show any better, because that writing is terrible, Because
I'll argue that the Zack Snyder films, the DC films, the really bad ones, were casted well. I had no problem with Ben Affleck as Batman Bruce Wayne. I thought Henry Cavill could have done. Henry Cavill could have done a great job if it was a better movie. Henry Cavill has that kind of Boy Scoutish look, even though he's hard to make look like Clark Kent, because even in the Clark Kent scenes, he still looked like a Calvin Klein model.
I also agree with you too. I don't think hate watching really has an impact either. There's a bunch of people that probably went and hate watch Snow White. They made zero impact at all. A bunch of people probably still kind of hate watch and spite Disney for Daredevil. Didn't do anything. Actually, it didn't work for Daredevil. Daredevil has less people watching it than Agatha Harkness, and that looked like absolute dog shit. I think watching really doesn't. The only time it's worked is like on Velma, and even that got canceled because no one came back for season 2.
I think the hate watching is like, I think the only people sometimes watching these shows are people who are hate watching it. Like paid shills and hate watchers are probably a majority of them, and it's still not doing well, because I think the average moviegoer, if you want a movie to be successful, you have to get average moviegoers to watch it. And if you're not getting the average person who just wants to be entertained, who doesn't care about all the bullshit or the politics, they just want a good movie, that's the people you got to try to get in there.
Well, but there's another caveat to that too. Even casting A-list actors doesn't work. No, they've casted plenty of A-list people recently and stuff. It's not a draw anymore. It's not. The only people that can really draw an audience is like Dwayne Johnson to some degree, Tom Cruise, Denzel Washington, Ryan Reynolds, and like Jackman, and maybe RDJ. Maybe if we're being really specific there, maybe they've I promise you,
a lot of luster.
Margot Robbie, I think if you put her in, no, she's had some bombs too, and she's been the lead of them too. Yeah, casting good like A-list talent doesn't work anymore. It really doesn't. There's so many movies that have come out with A-list talent, no one cares. Like people like George Clooney, Sandra Bullock, people like them have been casting movies, doesn't do anything. It's not the same way like it used to be.
Bad writing, nothing will fix that. Like You can cast the most popular actor on the planet, and there will be buzz, and people will be like, "Oh, RDJ is going to be in this movie," or "Oh, Ryan Reynolds is going to be in this. I want to watch it." But then if it's just bad, it's not going to make the money that they want.
Because people would use
Marvel
the
wants
argument of
to
like
make
Nolan,
billions.
right? But Nolan is a household name to some degree. They went and watched Oppenheimer. People watch his movies. I think now it's moving to be an actual brand thing to the point where like, because when people say it's like writing, but it's like before we've even seen writing, people have decided they don't care about it. So that's not writing. That means they saw trailers and were like, this looks like crap. I'm not even going to attempt to go see it. Or you have the controversies being added to it that make it more like, I don't want to support it. Because before we've even seen anything written, the stuff that we know about it beforehand, just you go like, you see leaked images now, you see spoilers more consistently now. There's so much for you. You've even seen the movie that, you know, you already made your mind up. Like I will still always watch stuff despite all the stuff we talk about, because I still want to give it that fair shake. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys I don't see all these red flags. Like when you're dating a girl, if you break up with her, you realize all the red flags you could have avoided if you noticed those red flags beforehand. These are all red flags. When I promise you, when I see something miscast, that's a red flag. Like that How to Train Your Dragon movie that's coming out. When they don't have Astrid looking like the way she should, that's a red flag to me. I'm sorry, it just is. Now, was that going to be the big determining factor to it sucking? No, still a red flag. I still don't like it. I'm still going to talk about it. You know.
Well, I'm still going to go see it.
I'm still going to see it.
There's
I like those movies.
There's a group of red flags, like miscasting. Okay, I'll kind of slide with that. But then if I hear about reshoots, and not reshoots like in what normal reshoots, but it's like we're changing the ending of this movie. If I hear about problems behind, blow up budgets, all of these stuff will be like, okay, well, I'm going to wait then. I'm going to wait till this movie comes out until I hear more concrete, maybe even watch some spoiler reviews and find out what's going on, or wait till it's free, because I'm not going to go spend movie money.
Wait, you brought it up. Because before, streaming wasn't that. I know people like to retcon this. Streaming was not the way it was originally. Streaming became something that this is mostly a Disney and Warner Brothers thing. Remember the day and date release thing that Warner Brothers did in 2021, releasing on their movies? Bob Chapek releasing new Pixar movies on the streaming service. Warner Brothers and Disney basically pivoted people to streaming because we started getting those release date windows being shrunken down. Now Disney wants to pivot and go, we keep our movies in the theaters longer. Doesn't matter. You've conditioned people to basically go like, not value the theatrical experience, and then for them to wait to watch it on streaming. They did it. Disney and Warner Brothers did that. And now that's why you see movies coming out in 3 weeks. Because you mind, why would people go and watch? Keep in mind, if we're operating under the mindset that average people don't care about that stuff, let's go with the average person that care about that stuff. Well, if the average person is much more than me and you and people that watch us, right? They're still not going to the movies and watching them. So it's something else. It's because they know now that they could wait for a movie to be at home, save money, and they know it's going to be there. You know it's going to be there in like about 3 weeks. So why would you go to the theater though? What value does that experience have when you know you could save money? You do it, I do it, all of us do it now.
Yeah.
Because you know that instead of wasting, I'm a single guy, so me going is like 25, 30 bucks. Even that could add up if you do it multiple times. A lot of you guys have families. Now you're just going to wait and then go like, okay, we'll see if it's a good movie to watch on streaming, and you save a bunch of money. The studios did it. The studios essentially killed the theatrical experience because average people maybe aren't into all this nerd stuff like we are. They're not watching movies for a different reason because they know there's no reason to go and support the theaters. Why? I don't think you should do that, but it's what the system did it. The system did it for you.
So many stinkers, it gets to the point where I don't want to go spend $40.
Especially in a row. Imagine if you see 5 bad movies in a row. You're like, fuck this, I'm done.
Yeah, I went through and almost walked out of The Last Jedi when Leia started doing the Mary Poppins thing through space. It's like I was like, I got to the point where I don't even movies that look interesting. Like I think this Jason Statham's Working Man movies. I love action revenge movies, and that movie looks interesting. But I'm not going to go watch it because I'm not going to spend $40 to go to what could be just a shitty movie.
He can draw an audience. Jason Statham, he can draw an audience.
Oh yeah. He has his audience.
I also consider him a movie star. Like people go. I saw his Wrath of Man movie. That was really good. That was really good.
Wrath
The
of
ending
Man
is a
was
little
very good.
sour, just a tiny bit, but that movie is so damn good. I had that in my top 10 best movies in 2021. That movie
I
is
like
so
the
fucking good.
Beekeeper one too. I didn't watch it till it was on home release.
Okay.
But it was a good movie though. Especially if you like Jason Statham action movies. It was all,
Hi, World Nation.
I keep bees and all
We're going to
that
get into our next
malarkey
topic
shit.
here in just a moment. I just, after one topic is done, I like to kind of breathe a little. I'm doing a Rambo trilogy Spider-Man on Saturday. Oh, awesome. Hopefully you have some fun. I keep on here, guys. I love reviewing movies here, but sometimes at some point when we're caught up with most comic books, we'll do kind of like what we're doing now, but we're just going to do it with movies, essentially. TV shows is different because that requires a lot of time, but it could be done at some point. Like, we could start with Invincible. I watched season 1 of Invincible. I just haven't seen the later 3 seasons. No,
season
2.
3 was amazing.
God, Invincible. People are like, man, these characters are evil. You guys haven't seen anything yet. You guys haven't even been introduced to the main villain of Invincible so far. Honestly, let's just say that. No spoilers.
Oh no, well wait.
I have read the story, so
wait till the incident happens between Mark and that female Viltrumite. I'm waiting for the internet to melt down.
Man,
are they going to show that? That could be season 5, season 3, where it ended.
Do you think they have 2 seasons left? I think based off the story, you could get 2 more seasons out.
I would say 7 total, because they're only at the conquest fight right now in season 3. So they haven't had the Viltrumite War. They haven't had the
haven't had the multiverse thing yet, have they?
No. Well, the multiverse thing they had, that was in season 2. Season 3 was the wrap up of the multiverse, and then the battle with Conquest. And it's spoiler, but it's out now, so it's been all over the internet. And then they ended with the battle of Conquest. So the next will be the Viltrumite War, but there's some stuff in between there. There's Dinosaurus. There's other stuff too. I don't know what they're all added.
Are you going to get?
Said there's going to be 7.
The Battle Beast issue number 1. Battle Beast issue number 1's coming out. Remember?
I'm a massive Ryan Otley fan. I found him on Invincible, and he's doing Battle Beast, which is a really cool character.
That also got 400,000 orders as well. Same as
Hush. I'm not surprised at all, because that is.
Battle Beast is a huge fan favorite character in Invincible.
Oh yeah, that's a dream Battle Beast too. Kirkman and Otley back together to do Battle Beast, which the Battle Beast Oh yeah, I'm all for it. I'll be day one on that one. Definitely. That one looks awesome.
Yeah, I also agree with that too. If the writing is good and it happens to be a good thing, it can offset the red flag. But that's also operating under this mindset that the writing would offset it. I don't think it really ever always has. I think it's pretty. If you think about it, it's always pretty lopsided toward it being bad. There's instances where it works, but
Well, like that Gino, he played in Breaking Bad, and he was just recently in the Captain America movie too. Gina Esperanto. The dude.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah. He wants to play Mr. Freeze. Recently, he said in DCU. I'm all for it because that dude's amazing. So I would love to see him in a complex role. You could easily make him
look. He would do a great. He wouldn't look like Victor. I guess you could say because Victor's white, but if you could, he would look really great with the blue makeup if they ever really went that.
Oh yeah, and the way he could pull off the emotion. Like that guy is an acting powerhouse. Like
I don't like the swap, but it's like that's one I could make an exception for. Very little.
Idris Elba when people were talking about him playing James Bond, I'm all for it. Because he's an amazing actor. I love everything Idris Elba's in. So it's there. If sometimes the casting, the race swap doesn't really mean that much if it's a good film or if it's a good fit. I don't think it has to be always. But when it's ham-fisted and just forced down your throat, that's when it becomes a problem.
Oh, another thing too, people just don't want things that they know and love to be so unrecognizable that they're not even the same thing. That's what they don't like either. Also, there was an article from the Mary Sue, fucking hell, where she blamed MAGA supporters. I'll just say this right now. If they believe that MAGA is the reason why the movie failed, which obviously it's not their fault, obviously. So if they've identified that most of the country voted MAGA because, the left party's trash, let's just say that hypothetically. Well, if you're a business, and I hope Disney is a business because that's what they are, they like making money. How about start making movies that attract them then? Then your movies won't flop then. It's that simple. How about coming to realize there's no modern audience? That's a unicorn. That's your audience right there.
Yeah,
They might have all voted for Trump. I did too, because fuck that other person.
Yeah,
but
don't shit on part of the audience and then
Yeah.
be surprised when that audience doesn't show up. Like that the
and then they
last
realize that audience is a majority of their audience. Like, why the
Yeah.
majority of people fucking go see it? Oh, because you kind of told them
they
they're all
did that
pieces of shit.
Charlie's Angels movie where
Yeah.
it was like they were all like, this is not for men. We don't want you to watch it.
Yeah, the
This is
lady, I forgot her name. She was Betty in Spiderman, that
Yeah.
actress. Yeah.
And then it's like, why didn't men show up to this movie? It's like, because you told us not to, and we listened. If you don't like me, I'm not going to go to it, and then you're not going to make money.
It's crazy. People said that Snow White wasn't for guys. I guarantee you that'll be a line of. I guarantee you that'll be a narrative moving forward. It's like, well, a bunch of men didn't go support Snow White. You told men it wasn't for them. You told them it was for little girls and single moms. So first of all, if you're going to tell people that, don't expect them to go. Keep in mind, if we're supposed to operate that men should like women's stuff, and you tell a man you don't get to go see Snow White because you're a man, guys, you know how stupid that sounds? It's literally. Keep in mind, I grew up with many female-related superhero or hero-related things. I have no problem watching a Disney princess movie. I went and watched Cruella. I have no problem watching anything female-related. But when someone tells you you're a grown man, you shouldn't watch Snow White. Good, fine, perfect. I don't gotta do shit then, honestly.
I'll go watch Working Man with.
I'll go watch like fucking, I don't know, Rambo or some shit like that.
We'll go watch some man.
Keep in mind, people say, well, Snow White's for little girls. Who takes the kids to go see the movies? I imagine it'd be a dad or a mom.
Why are you what married women can't bring their kids to see Snow White? What is like single moms and little girls? It's like, come on now, you guys are just cut down your audience to a third.
Yeah,
it's like
not made for you. Why would Snow White not be made for me? The message in the original movie is a timeless classic. Why would it not be made for a dude? Keep in mind, guys, the girls were princesses, but the messaging clearly always could be for men too, because they had men in positions to save women. So if it's not, good lord, fucking how people are just retarded. It's such circular, dumb arguments that they make constantly, which make no sense. My brain fries hearing this stuff. The only reason why I'm still here is because my brain's so fried, it's on a rotisserie still going. It's like, oh, we don't want men watching this movie. Movie failed. Fucking men didn't go support it. You told me it's not for me. I'm good. I gotta check that shit out.
Not to. I listen.
Why isn't there enough women supporting Snow White too? Why is there enough women supporting it? They didn't go, or less the sit there. Maybe that was the audience they created, but I don't know. It's just like I have no if they when they released Little Mermaid, I didn't like the casting. I thought the race swap was stupid. I didn't go support it, but it didn't matter anyway because enough people didn't go watch it either. Keep in mind, if every Disney princess movie is not for men, then don't make them because you're not going to get any money out of them.
I'll probably take my nephews to go watch Lilo and Stitch live action because I want to see Lilo.
And that look good?
I'm definitely going to go see How to Train Your Dragon live action because it's one of my favorite animated series. And Toothless looks amazing in live action. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go. I have no problem going to see this. I want to watch Sonic the Hedgehog.
All of us watched Powerpuff Girls growing up. All of the dudes watch Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, Hunchback of Notre Dame is my favorite Disney movie. Like Hunchback of Notre Dame, they should do a live action of that one. Even though that's way too creepy to do a live action one. That preacher in that one was just out of line. But
yeah, I was never a huge Lilo and Bitch fan growing up, but that trailer looked good.
It looked good. It looked fun.
If that is successful, fucking hell. What the hell Disney put us through these last 6 years is going to be like, oh, hell. So you know how to make good shit. You're just fucking with us. Fuck off. Imagine if they really knew all this shit, but
if they knock it out of the park,
audience to that.
If they knock it out of the park, it's just like they look at the other stuff. It's just like, what? Why is that?
Why is
so
that
bad?
One working well?
And this
crazy.
Awesome,
Casting
whoever
like
made this
Hawaiian
decision,
people.
Keep them making decisions.
Could you imagine if they cast the little girl to be white? Oh my god! Keep in mind, I would expect it. They casted a Puerto Rican to play Snow White. They casted a black girl to play Ariel. Oh, I always called it Lilo and Bitch. I never cared for Lilo and Stitch. That's why I always called it.
I love that cartoon.
I saw the movie, and then I turned it into a TV series. I remember that.
TV series, the movie's great though. Disney, classic, good Disney.
You know who would have been a great Bubbles? Michael Clark Duncan, but he's dead. So that sucks.
True.
Man, imagine him being Bubbles. Imagine that guy chasing down a little Hawaiian girl. Oh my god, I'd be terrified. Honestly, that's not true. This never happens. Honestly. You don't got to justify to go watch Snow White. Go watch it. You can even dress up like all the rest of the little girls in the audience. You know, it's funny.
That's actually it's acceptable by some people now. So
also, that's the joke in and of itself. There's no one in the audience. No one's watching this. There's no audience. Have you seen the pictures? Have you seen the theater rooms? Them shits is empty. There ain't no audience watching that. Fun fact, there is no audience for a live action remake of Snow White. People just didn't care for that idea. They would rather just have the original release remastered, you know. This never happened. Sparkles has been trying to blow me for a while, so it's okay, you know, hypothetically joking. You're not gonna be seen in the dark theaters anyways. All right.
Oh, that's
good Lord, man.
Oh man.
Like, I mean, you can take your kids to go see it. I'm not saying you can't, but parents pay for the ticket. So when people say Snow White's for little girls, yes, inherently, I agree that is the demographic for Snow White. But as people need to hold two thoughts in their brain most of the time, who takes the kids to go see the movies? The parents, right? So if they feel like Disney is putting stuff in movies that they don't want their kids to be around, then you need to start appealing to how the family entertainment for them used to be. You need to convince the parents to go watch the movies because kids will like anything. Let's be honest, kids will just enjoy anything you put them in front of them. You need to convince the parents to go watch your shit. Parents don't feel like they need to go watch Disney stuff anymore. Makes sense. I agree with them.
It's just not that movie by itself. It's like, okay, times are tough already. We got one movie to go see. Am I going to go take them to see Dog Man, Sonic 3? You know, there's other movies out where it's like, okay, you know, the Snow White sounds terrible, so I have to sit through this too. So, hey, kids, you guys want to go see Sonic 3 or you want to see Dog Man or, you know, there's other choices out there. There was the other one, was it Wild Robot? That was beautiful. That was a great movie. So, I mean, it's not just the politics, I think, hurting it, but when you have the main actress coming out there and saying that stuff and you only have one movie you can take the kids to, because if you're taking two kids, the missus or yourself,
gas and concessions,
you're talking $80, you know, if you're getting popcorn, soda, all that deal. So, you know, if you're spending somewhere $60-$80, you're only gonna do it once a month. Then if I have to choose what one I'm going to see, well, I'm hearing amazing things about Sonic 3. I'm hearing amazing things about Dog Man. It's like I would rather just go see and spend my money on that than go spend my money on what looks like to be a flop. You know, and especially with some parents, if you don't like hearing that stuff, you don't want your kids around or subjugated to it. It's just true. You have conservative parents, and conservative parents are not going to want to go see their kids see certain things because they don't want them around that kind of stuff.
You know, Disney knows that too. Disney took out a trans element in a recent animated show. It was a headline for a while there. They took out a trans. People don't want to have their kids shown that stuff. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules, guys. If that's what they don't want their kids seeing, they get to make that decision because they're the majority. The majority, the 80%, gets to decide shit, not the 20% that, let's be honest here, they don't have money anyway. They ain't supporting the movies anyway. They'll give you a like on Twitter. They'll retweet your post, but they don't like. They weren't going to watch it anyway. Because you mind, all these people to claim that they like Snow White on Twitter or Reddit or wherever, couldn't they have just gone and seen it too? Why did you? I love how this mindset works. They shit on the people that would have been the majority, but then they themselves don't watch it, and they get mad at you for it bombing.
Yeah, it's like
stupid.
Yeah, you have. It's like you make a movie. So if you have 100 people, and you make a movie that's designed to only be entertained by 5 of those people, you can't be mad when only 5 of the 100
Remember movie
people
Bros? Remember Bros came
up.
out? That's a gay rom-com. Yeah. And the dude was like, man, if you didn't watch this, you're homophobic. I'm sorry, I didn't want to go spend my Saturday night watching two dudes fuck each other.
Yeah. So it's like if you make a film for an audience and that audience doesn't turn out for it, well, one, you didn't entertain that audience. Two, you didn't do anything to worthwhile to bring that audience out. And also, two, you need to look at the size of the audience, and that's how popular something's going to be.
Almost
You're not going to make a movie about two gay men in a rom-com and have it make $1 billion. It's just not going to happen. If you needed to make 80 million, you still might have a hard time doing that because it's just, for one, it's a rom-com, and now it's a rom-com about two gay men. So, you know, which I'm not saying it's right, but if it was about two gay women,
more straight people. We know there's more straight people, so they wouldn't have watched it just off the principle alone. They wouldn't have cared for it because it's, why would, if I have a girlfriend, let's say if I take her out, why are we going to sit there and choose two dudes fucking in a movie? Why?
Well, yeah.
There is no reason. And people go, but you should have given it a chance. And not giving it a chance, you're just not interested. You're not interested. I would not be interested in that. I wouldn't even bother thinking about to watch it. Sorry. It just wouldn't interest me enough.
If you're bringing that into other genres, then you're going to have a real big problem.
But it didn't have a good story. That's true. That's you true. Got me there.
It's right.
You got me there.
And that's the thing too. And that's one of the big problems with this whole woke movement when it started was that they tried to change popular IPs in order to facilitate their message. And the problem with that is that the reason why the IP is popular is because of the audience that it goes to. So if you're trying to change that and the audience reacts poorly, and also if you gaslight and hate the audience and they leave, well then, you know, you're just setting yourself up for failure. Just because it's Batman doesn't mean if you change him into a trans African American that all of a sudden everyone's going to be happy with it. And then when they're not happy with it, you go out and call them hate mongers and racists and everything else, then you're even pushing them away more. And I remember a Netflix executive said the reason why we do swaps on known characters is because it's a known character. It's much easier to do that than try to do it with a brand new character. Because if you screw up a brand new character, that looks even worse. But if we make Batman into a trans black person, then that's okay because it's Batman. So if you don't like Batman, or if you like Batman but you don't like that, that's because you're a hateful monster. And that PR is what Disney and Hollywood has been doing for like the last 8-10 years.
I mean, it's almost a decade of them trying.
Almost a decade of this shit. And you could write an entire college course on how Disney has pissed away money this last decade. At one point it was like $30 billion of losses, and that was like 3 or 4 years ago. Who knows what it's up to now?
Yeah, because keep in mind, Avatar 2 came out, and you could somewhat argue that given that Avatar 2 success kind of makes up for other movies, that can't work in that mindset, because Avatar 2, keep in mind, has its own budget and its own way of making its profit at the box office. Keep in mind, that's a completely separated, isolated thing from all the other movies. Because they would go, well, Avatar 2 made a lot of money. Yeah, but that doesn't mean shit compared to the other ones that released that all bombed. And that would also affect, unless you literally started fudging the numbers, which is illegal. You can't do that, but they do.
Yeah.
We know they do.
Well, one of the more popular superhero live action shows is The Boys. And The Boys has all sorts of woke shit through it all over the place. But it's really well written. It's well acted. The guy playing Homelander should win a friggin' Oscar. I mean, I think he won a Grammy, whatever the Golden Globe for it was. But it's not just because they make things gay and race swap. It's because it's a bad product with gay and race swap.
Also, keep in mind, the reason why the swap is the problem for a lot of people, it comes off unrecognizable. So there was a tweet that I commented on where he was talking about Taskmaster, and he basically said the line where he said the swap doesn't matter because the acting was bad and the movie itself was bad. But that's the problem there. That's where the person already loses the argument. If you change something and it doesn't match to what people remember, people are going to consider that not good, right? that fundamentally doesn't look like the character. So what that does is that points to a distinction that, okay, I'll use Taskmaster is a little decently not known. If Batman was a girl with a ballerina tutu on and started doing ballet, would you consider that Batman?
No,
I wouldn't.
No.
So, like, changing fundamental things doesn't have a problem. If Superman was wearing, I don't know, a butt plug and had booty shorts on and started twerking, throwing it back, that's not Superman to me. I'm sorry.
She-Hulking it.
Yeah. If you start making the character look unrecognizable, people are going to consider that a problem. I'm sorry. If Harry, I know you guys like Harry Potter here. If Harry Potter was a black kid with a do-rag on, sagging his pants, talking about Hogwarts and hogging BBCs at Hermione or whatever, you probably think the character is trash. Sorry. Hey, dog.
Oh, yeah.
So,
fair.
Speaking of our last topic, yes. Yeah. That's not Batman to me. It's not. Sorry. He looks like this. I want him to look like that. If he's black, that's not Batman to me. Sorry. There's Batwing. He looks like that, but
to me, if you have the right actor, but at the same time, I don't know, like it doesn't seem like it would fit.
And
like,
keep in mind,
James Bond would be an easier swap for me.
And keep in mind, that just is lazy. It's still lazy to do it. Because changing it just causes too many problems. You could just not do it, not have any problems. But we don't live in a world like that where people just go, "Hey, I don't have to deal with those problems, but I'm just going to deal with them entirely." Because keep in mind, there's nothing wrong with the character's race. They're created like that because the creators wanted them to look like that. That's like Stan Lee wanted. Fucking hell. He wanted Peter Parker to look the way he does. So changing him is disrespectful to him. It just is, I
think you could do it with some like if you had the right actor, I could see you race swapping the Hulk. I could see you doing not Captain America just because of the time period.
That's even more of a reason why you don't change it then. It doesn't matter if you change it then you don't change it at all. So I don't really get the problem with I don't really get the idea with changing it. It just causes too many problems. Just don't do it. Keep in mind, changing it, that's the racist problem about it. You have a problem with their race if you change it. Because there's no real argument to change it though. Could you start getting
there's already weird, established black characters that
you could just make them
build franchises off of, that you don't have to establish. You don't have to take an established character and try to flip the narrative on it just because you're trying to pander when there is already established characters. Like the fact that Static Shock has not been put live action with as successful as his comic book was and his cartoon was, that is kind of a crime to me.
But people will argue that Batman and Superman should be black when there's other black characters that you could just have, but they never do it. I don't get the argument of race swapping popular characters. Just give the black ones the chance they because you guys argue for underrated characters. Give the underrated black characters the chance. Then do no race swapping.
Go out and find not to like you have like Isom, you have other characters out there. The Spawn is an African American. Like there's African American characters that you can put in the spotlight instead of just saying, well, we need to pander to an audience, so I'm going to race swap already a famous character just because then the people who already like the character will show up, and then also this new race of character people will show up. But then when the average goer doesn't go watch it and they complain about it, then you gaslight them, and that doesn't.
That's the thing too. Is all of that also ties into their appearance. You recognize Bruce because he looks like that, and then everything else matters.
Yeah.
Remember, Clark looks like this. You understand what he looks like, and you know his journey through that. There's no argument anyone can give me to justify switching them. All of it's stupid.
Too, if you switch them, it changes things. So if Superman is black, then he grows up with white parents in was it Kansas?
Kansas.
In the South, he grows up with white parents in the South.
And you're saying he's not saying the N-word?
You're not changing how his origin was, how he's going to react to people, how he's going to act as a
But
character.
have you ever noticed this, dude? It only works for white characters. No one would ever justify to you that Static Shock should be white. It would never happen that way. It only happens to white characters.
That's an excellent question too. It's like, okay, so can Black Panther be white if we find the right actor?
If that's the logic we use, if it's ever fair like that, then I would go, okay, as long as it's applied equally, then it's fine.
That's one of the big questions. It's like, okay, I understand if there's a race swap because the actor embodies the character so well that they're just like,
I think it's just crazy.
We have to, we have to cast this person. This person is Bruce Wayne, and they find someone who fits the role just so perfect. I get that, but when you're trying to tell me that, well, they need to be black because of society and along those lines, then it's like, well, okay, in that case, then maybe white boys need to feel like they can be Black Panther. So why don't we put Black Panther in the suit?
Yeah,
why don't we change Black Lightning?
The idea behind the race, it's not the reason why I would say ultimately not to change it is because it shows a character that even though you might look differently from this character, you're inspired by this character, had nothing to do with if you want to use this argument, this is the only one that you could logically use where it would make sense. You're inspired by the character, not because of what they look like, but because of what they are, their ideals, how they portray themselves. Right. But the race itself, technically in that argument, doesn't really mean anything. But that's why you wouldn't change it. Because you didn't like that character. You like the character for different reasons other than their race. Their race was just a byproduct. Like we use Goku, for example, from Dragon Ball Z. A lot of people like Goku. Okay. Now you like Goku because of the many things that attaches to his personality and the way he acts. He doesn't have to be black for me to like him. Okay. Bruce doesn't have to be black for me to like him. You can use Terry McGinnis. Terry McGinnis doesn't have to be black for me to like him. Clark doesn't have to be black. Get to the point, the race, yes, is irrelevant, but it also proves that you don't have to technically like a character because of the race. You could like him because of different things, right? I mean, are characters just their skin color? If you want to use that argument? Well, I would say so. The way someone looks definitely kind of can show you their outlook on life, right?
Yeah.
So
I got two responses to Walter.
Which consider Batman Beyond. He's not really considered Batman, technically.
Well, one, he's taking over the mantle of Batman. So then Terry McGinnis is a whole new person. And even if they wanted to make Terry McGinnis black, it would have been fine because it's a new person. We're talking about race swapping established characters. And two, even if Superman was black from Krypton, lands in Kansas, and in the farmland, and they were black farmers.
That one is fine. You see, right there, that's not taking
still,
away
from it Clark still Kent. Changes how he grows up in a lot of areas.
This one right there, Val-Zod is, I would agree that's a fine one because that's not Clark Kent. That's on a completely different Earth. That's fine. I'm talking about like if you change Clark Kent, I wouldn't like that. I feel like it's disrespectful.
And I won't go so far as disrespectful, but it needs to make sense. And if it makes sense and the casting's right, then but it does change the aspects of the character, especially if you want to get technical about it. Now you could just ignore all that and he just had a normal Kansas City Clark Kent experience, and now he's mild-mannered Clark Kent stumbling over his shoelaces in front of Lois, and then turns into Superman, and he's all, which is fine if you could do that, but then at the same time, it's just like, why are we doing it then? Like that's the whole thing to it. Is like if your only justification for doing the race swap is because you want to pander to an audience and bring in a different crowd, well then right there, is that a good enough reason to do it? Like if you wanted to bring in a black crowd to move to superhero movies, then why isn't Static Shock live action? Why wasn't Michael B. Jordan out of high school playing Static Shock, zooming around the city with his cool array of villains? And we get that. Like, why is it that we have to go in here
Blade,
and then
no one will ever advocate you race swap Blade? No one will ever say that.
Should Jason Statham play Blade? Because he might make a good Blade. He does a good action
scene.
Why
now you get it. That's why these arguments make no sense, and why I'm not saying these conversations is bad, but I'm saying like this is how you know things are stupid when you really all the logic falls apart with any basic comprehension of how your brain could work. No one would ever argue to you that Blade needs to be race swapped. Ever. It would never happen. Black Panther, John Stewart, none of them. Not a single one of them. People would argue it. I understand why. If it doesn't work both ways, then it works in no way because it's not fair. First of all, I don't want Bruce being white. I'm sorry. I don't want Bruce being black. Why? Doesn't even add anything to the character if he's black. A black person that could be rich like that. Yeah,
now, race swap Frank Castle. Like, I could see that. Race swapping Frank Castle. Like, I could see Idris Elba playing Frank Castle.
Because he's supposed to have that mafia dude look, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I could see that. There's characters where you can do it where it doesn't really affect the fundamental parts of the character at all. I just think that sometimes if you're doing it just for the reason that you want to do it, or just because you think it should be done because of representation, well, it's like, well, there's established characters. Like, why isn't Jon Stewart the main? Like, well, he is now.
Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific.
Black Lightning.
Now. Yeah, Mr. Terrific's now.
Black Lightning his own series, People
Black Lightning series was good on the CW.
Yeah, there's black characters you could already promote. What they want to do is they're just kind of racist towards white characters, and they just kind of think, oh, it's okay for white characters to be race swapped, but not the other ones.
Yeah.
No one will ever justify you a black character getting race swapped.
They won't race swap any minority race character with a white person. That's completely off bounds. The only time you see that is recently would be like some of these they did that the 10 Commandments movie with Christian Bale and that other guy, where essentially it was like they were Jewish and Egyptians, but no one on the set was Jewish or Egyptian. It was, they did stuff along those lines. Where you have essentially white characters playing minority roles. They also did that with the Egyptian one that had Gerard Butler in it with the guy from Game of Thrones. Yeah. That was another one where it was like, there are Egyptian actors.
I got it.
Play Egyptian gods.
Cast Lizzo as Jesus. That would be hell. All right, let's get to this final thing, and then we'll head out of here.
Because I got to get up in 4 hours, so let's do this.
Good Lord. All right. Good Lord. You guys, I hate all of you for what you did tonight. Good Lord. All right.
Damn it, Walter.
It's always him. He's too black for his own good sometimes. God. All right. Oh, I'm black, and I need people to love me. I'm joking. Oh, God. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about giant size Spider-Man. So Marvel Comics has did this giant size one-shot comic book kind of series for a very, very long time. The most famous one, obviously, is Giant Size X-Men #1. That is the premier giant-sized Marvel comic book they've ever released. They did this idea for a lot of the other characters as well. They're even going to release a omnibus coming out later on this year in 2025, collecting all the Marvel Comics' giant-size one-shots. And they've been doing this idea a lot recently. They did it with, giant-size Miles Morales Spider-Man, giant-size Daredevil, giant-size Thor, giant-size Silver Surfer, but we got confirmation recently that there's going to be a giant-size one-shot series for X-Men, and we talked about that in their previous video. That's just fucking terrible. All that's just trash.
Their history.
God, fucking hell. So actually, just Marvel Comics is such full of retards. So then we had another announcement coming up. This is actually going to be giant-sized Spider-Man, and it's going to be written by Kevin Smith. Yeah, the Kevin Smith who had a Green Lantern run. You guys know him from the whole Masters of the Universe animated series that he did some years ago that got a lot of backlash. I know he's been big in a lot of stuff, but yeah, Kevin Smith is coming back to Marvel Comics to write a giant-sized Spider-Man #1 one-shot. Marvel Comics is supposed to be the company with the House of Ideas. I don't know if they're circling the drain. I don't know what they're doing at this point. I'm not saying Kevin Smith can't write a comic book, obviously. I just don't know if this is supposed to be a big draw enough, but it's what Marvel likes. It's a #1. They can get a lot of variant covers out of it, and that's kind of really all that matters to them, having a high sale numbers on the #1s, because they love relaunching and renumbering, because they're just addicted to that at this point,
Well, Kevin Smith did a good job on Daredevil. I liked his Daredevil run. I didn't read his Green Lantern run, but Kevin Smith is also a safe choice, because ever since they let him start directing the CW series, he's been trying so hard to get back into the good graces of Hollywood, and he plays right along with the fiddle that Marvel likes. So I'm not surprised with him getting a comic or a writing job. I'm actually kind of interested, because he can do good jobs when he's not having anyone else around him. This is who's the artist on it? Is it Wendigo? It looks like Mike Wendigo.
Let's go through it. It's happening. Kevin Smith is returning to Marvel with a special Spider-Man tribute. Now, as you guys know, recently, I read The World Without Love, The Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1 by Zeb Wells. Now, overall, I didn't hate the first 5 or 6 issues collected in that trade, but I didn't like the way they treated Peter Parker and the way that Marvel Comics has treated Peter Parker, not just in movies as well, even with the Tom Holland iteration of the character that I think is really, really just so, I guess you could say, not good if you really look at the totality of Tom Holland Spider-Man's arc. The same way you guys see Tom Holland Spider-Man, the way that they kind of did him in No Way Home, and I like No Way Home, but just the way that they take everything from him and they always just have him being the guy that can't get it right and the underdog and all that stupid shit. It's no wonder why Ultimate Spider-Man, written by Jonathan Hickman right now, is doing very, very well. So hopefully in this, they can make Peter Parker not be a fucking pussy cuckified bitch most of the time. Kevin Smith made a huge splash in comics when he rebooted Daredevil in the late 90s. And now the filmmaker is returning to Marvel with an all-new Spider-Man story. Smith is just one name in an all-star creative lineup, which will be gathered together in one oversized special set to be released in June. Announced via Marvel.com, Giant Size Spider-Man #1 will feature 3 stories from the creative teams of Kevin Smith and Giuseppe Camuncoli, Al Ewing, and Mark Buckingham, and Chip Zdarsky and Cafu. Okay.
Wow, that is a mouthful of creator names there.
Good Lord. Fucking hell. How big is this book going to be? How many pages? This would have to be at least 65, 70 pages. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm not as excited that he's not doing his own kind of run. Now it's just kind of a one shot in the giant.
These giant sized ones are usually about 70, 80 pages actually. I remember,
so it's like an issue for each team then.
Like they actually re-released giant size X-Men as a thing, like a #1 a long while ago. 2023, I remember they did it. And God, like Marvel loves their #1s and they love their giant size, but this kind of art looks okay.
Oh, so that's Greg Capullo.
Is it?
Yeah, that's what it says on top. They're covered by Greg Capullo.
Yeah, you're right. Looks good. Why are they still pushing Kamala Khan? Marvel, please stop. This character sucks
everywhere.
You want to? I'm going to keep saying this. You want a good stretchy character? Go and fucking watch One Piece. Literally, just go and watch that or read that. I don't care how you consume it. That's a better stretchy character. Or they have the better one right here in front of us too. Fucking hell, Miss Marvel sucks ass. Paying homage to the giant-sized issues released by Marvel in the 70s, the new special will also contain the first appearance of an all-new character, one that Marvel promises will play a big role in the near future. Oh, hot damn. They're finally going to create new characters. Finally. It only took you forever.
Well, it's not a good number one unless they create a new character. So
True.
yeah, that's all money right there. That's all collector shit right there.
Yeah, and keep in mind, guys, no one's gonna read this to the point where they know about the new character. They're gonna find it out from like a comic book YouTuber or like people posting screenshots of the book. People are only gonna be buying this because it's a number one and it's gonna have a lot of variant covers. That's it.
Yeah.
All three stories promise to be a celebration of Spider-Man in all his incarnations. Smith and Cam Uncoli's story features a team-up between Spidey and the Fantastic Four that Marvel claims will have your heart beating in overdrive and your sides hurting from how much you're laughing. Given how their books have been written recently, I don't know if that's a good thing. Ewing and Buckingham's story will take place over decades and feature Spider-Man teaming up with his best friends in the Marvel Universe. And Chip Zdarsky and Kafu's story will introduce a brand new character to the Marvel Universe, setting up a major story in the future. And Chip Zdarsky, he's going to be the main writer on the new Captain America ongoing series that we'll cover in a topic later on because he got kicked off the Batman main ongoing book at DC Comics. So he's back at Marvel now. That's what he's doing. He had to find work because he tanked it on Batman for some reason. Kevin Smith helped to change the direction of comics when he was recruited by Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti to revamp Daredevil as a part of their Marvel Knights initiative in 1998. The resulting story made Daredevil a top-selling title once more and helped to reinvigorate Marvel after perhaps the company's lowest point following their declaration of bankruptcy in the 1990s. While Smith has periodically written comics in the decades since, it has been some time since his name has graced a Marvel comic, so it's nice to see the writer return to the House of Ideas, House of No Ideas recently, or House of Recycled Ideas, or House of Retards. That's what I would call it. Woo. From a brand new story from Kevin Smith to the cast of All-Stars to the introduction of a major new character, Giant-Size Spider-Man #1 is a can't-miss title for Marvel Comics fans this summer. This also features a cover by superstar artist Greg Capullo, meaning that the title is sure to stand out on the comic book shelves no matter what. By returning to Marvel with a brand new Spider-Man story, Kevin Smith has Marvel fans excited once more to see what's coming from the House of No Ideas. Giant-Size Spider-Man #1 is on sale. This is June 11th.
Yeah.
From Marvel Comics. So, you excited for this? You gonna get
really.
this?
No. I'll tell you what, I'll open it up when it's at the comic book shop, and if it has good art, if I like the artist, then I'll get it, but I won't. I don't plan on it.
They're trying to get me to get into their #1 scheme. It's like, oh, damn it. Like, I hope he can write a good Spider-Man story because Spider-Man needs a good written story after, well, you guys don't even know the half of the story, honestly, from how they've been treating Peter Parker. But, I mean, is Kevin Smith a big enough name to sell a comic book? I mean, it might have been back in the day when he was writing at DC and Marvel, but what has his name been really attached to recently that could give him some star power? I mean, I guess people are just going to see the name Kevin Smith and go, hey, I'll just get this. Because the last thing he did was that Masters of the Universe animated series on Netflix. And, well, apparently they killed off He-Man in the first episode and they made the female the main character or whatever. No one liked that.
I watched that first season painfully.
Did you like it?
No, not at all. I could do an entire show on just how bad that was, and I could dissect it down episode to episode on all the terrible decisions that was made, and just how.
At least this time around, he won't have full creative control. Marvel's editorial team will make sure you don't get full creative control. If that's Spider-Man and Tom Brevoort, oh no. I mean, maybe if Tom Brevoort will see Kevin Smith and he's fat as fuck and he'll get on his knees for him because Tom Brevoort's a fat fucking moron. Maybe he'll let Kevin Smith do what he wants because he thinks Kevin Smith has some big draw.
Kevin Smith didn't write He-Man. He was part of the writing team. He was there was a whole team of writers that did the abomination known as that that series. So this is just going to be just Kevin writing a Spider-Man story that's not necessarily in canon. It's going to be a fun little story with the Fantastic Four. If the artist is good, you'll probably get a good little deal out of it. But like the reason I'm called Lunchbox Warren is because of Kevin Smith. I am a huge Kevin Smith fan from back in the days I saw Clerks. Chasing Amy, one of his best films all time was Chasing Amy, even though Clerks 3 was very well done. But he is not consistent. I'm a big Kevin Smith fan, but I'll tell you right now, he's not consistent and he's not the greatest writer all the time. So who knows what Kevin Smith we're going to be getting in this. I liked Tusk, but I didn't like Yoga Hosers. I heard the newest one he did was getting some buzz, but it didn't look very interesting to me. Clerks 3 was pretty good, even though Kevin Smith can never land an ending in his movies. So it all depends on Jay calls Silent Bob Lunchbox, and my brother would call me that, and he knew I was a big Kevin Smith fan. So when I had to come up with a comic name or for a company, I chose Lunchbox Comics, and that's just, now I'm Lunchbox Warren, and it's all due to Kevin Smith. But but even as one of his bigger fans, I have his book on, like, his self-help book on my shelf. Is that he's not always that good, and who knows? Him by himself writing Spider-Man, I think we could get an interesting story. I would be much more interested if he was writing a whole arc of Spider-Man like he did with Daredevil. That would be cooler. But how
much you want to bet by the time we get a new Spider-Man movie that Marvel Comics would attempt to do what DC Comics is doing with the Summer of Superman? They're going to give you like the Summer of Spider-Man event.
Yeah, the Spring of Spider-Man event. They don't want to do it at the same time as DC.
I mean, like, I buy these sometimes. I bought the giant size stuff. I have them. I haven't read them. I have the Thor one they released recently. I have the Daredevil one. I have a few of them. I have the X-Men one as well. This one, I mean,
I'll buy it if you want to review it, but I don't really have any other reason to buy it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll review. It's only one issue anyway. We'll read it and review it for you guys. I have no hope because my toleration for Spider-Man at this point is to the bottom. I mean, I like what Jonathan Hickman is doing, which is, and we have to eventually read that second trade that came out because I love the first one. The first one was just, man, some of the best comics I've read in a long time.
Trade.
First one is great. First one is so good. I haven't read the second one yet, but I'll get your final thoughts and opinions on this. Kevin Smith on giant size Spider-Man #1. Oh my God, Marvel, just fucking hell. Jesus Christ.
He doesn't have the buzz like he did back in the early 2000s. I don't think he's a name that brings people in like he used to. He's gone really weird as of late, especially he just likes everything, even when it's shit. He liked Josh Whedon's Justice League, crying while he's watching it. So he doesn't have the pull like some other big names. But, you got Capullo doing the cover. It's a #1, and it's establishing a new character. So the collectors are going to buy it. I don't think. Oh, he's very woke. Like Kevin Smith is like full woke, 100%. Like he's dived into the woke pool and he's swimming around.
Didn't he? I remember Anna, that Star Wars girl, said something to him, and he had a complete meltdown. Oh, he cried. And she called him a bitch. And, Anna's takes are very just, hit or miss most of the time.
Yeah,
but that one I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But, and he even was so mad at her. He mentioned her on a podcast he did. Oh my God, dude. And these people are always the same people that say, oh, I don't have to interact with trolls like that. They do, guys. I don't know why you guys, they get angered dude, I even had to quartering retweet something that I said to him because I told him that Melanie Mack wasn't a real Christian because she had tattoos, and I knew that was gonna get a retweet because I know how to trash talk in a way that'll make sure you respond to me.
You have a very good Twitter trash talking presence. I've been liking your tweets and following you lately.
Man. Like Kevin Smith, literally, he's the same type of person in Hollywood. They'll be like, these are just crazy fans. You shouldn't pay attention to them. Man literally had a full-blown meltdown because Anna, that Star Wars girl, just told him to stop crying like a bitch because he cries in everything.
Yeah.
Like, you be a man, Kevin? Like, holy fuck. But he was also a big guy at promoting the Snyderverse too. Remember that? He was the biggest
Well,
Snyder supporter.
yeah, when he started doing the CW directing, like they brought him in to direct some Flash episodes and stuff. He did some Supergirl episodes. He wanted to get back in Hollywood, and you could see a change of him. I used to listen to his podcast all the time. When he started getting that CW work and he wanted to get back into Hollywood, you started to see him, everything that Hollywood did, he would say he loved it. Remember, he hosted that Zack Snyder universe, like that, what was that show they did, like it was a half hour long. They were talking about Justice League and Aquaman and all this stuff. He hosted that, and he just got to the point where you couldn't trust his reviews anymore because everything he loved, he loved all. He was fucking crying over Josh Whedon's Justice League. It's like, come on, man. It shows just a little bit of that, honesty on that stuff. But no, he wants to work in Hollywood. He wants a tentpole movie. He wants to be able to do a Green Arrow for DCU, or do a Marvel movie, or do just regular movies that are backed by big corporations again, because he can only do so much. Like, Kevin Smith has an art form of being able to make a $4 million movie and then go around and tour it and have enough fans that like Kevin Smith that he can easily make 20, 30, 40, maybe even sometimes $100 million on these movies. So if a studio has no problem giving him $4 million to do Tusk, when Tusk could turn around and make them 40, because he'll go around and show it off to people and shit. So he doesn't have as much credibility. So I don't think seeing Kevin Smith's name on there would makes
I don't
me
think it
excited.
moves the needle. Yeah,
no, not at all. No.
So for me, I mean, as you guys know, Spider-Man is their Batman at Marvel Comics right now. Any way they can kind of juice Spider-Man for any reason that they can think of, they're going to do it. I hope Kevin Smith and Chip Zdarsky and Al Ewing can deliver a decent story. I mean, it literally can't be anything worse than what Zeb Wells did to Peter Parker in that first book I read. So, can't be anything worse than that. So, yeah. Thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, and we're going to sign out, guys. See you guys later. Peace. All right, we're about to head out of here in about 1 minute. Is there anything you want to plug before we head out?
No, I'm good, man.
Just went a little bit later than I thought. Yeah, we'll be back here.
No, it's all good.
If we're not going to review Ultimate Wolverine, then we'll be back here a little bit earlier. We'll probably just do 7 if we're just going to do some topics then. Or just get in early, get it done. Walter says, I believe it was a 6-issue series, but the complete hardcover is on 152 pages. It's pretty unique because the art is like a children's book. Just thought I'd mention it. Yeah, just remind me of it before. So, fucking hell, of course before. My brain's blown. Remind me of it just the next time, and I'll see if I enjoy it. I'll just add it to my cart. But yeah, we'll be back here tomorrow, guys, around 7, 8-ish. Probably no comic book review. Probably just I'm gonna chill after work. I'm gonna just do some topics. I'm good. We've been reading a lot recently, so it's okay to take a day off. Topics. Yeah. So thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show. We're gonna see you guys later.